All right, what's going on, everyone? Draftapalooza is back. Slight delay, but we are here and we are live drafting best ball teams on Underdog. We're going to do an Underdog and a DraftKings today. We'll mix it up a little bit, get it going. Just to show you guys where I'm at, take a look at this. Okay, this is what I have going on the slows. So if you've been watching Draftapalooza since last season, many of you haven't, you know, the Eliminator is, for me, my favorite contest on Underdog. The way the Eliminator works is a little bit different than standard contests because basically you get eliminated every week. It's a week-to-week contest. It's a lot of fun checking to see your advance rates every single week. So as an example, in the Eliminator, half of the field gets knocked out every single week. So if you're doing Eliminator lineups, your whole goal is let's get past the week, right? Let's get past this week. So it's a lot of fun. You always want to get more than half your teams past. That's how you kind of know that you're winning. So it's a lot of fun to check it. Last season, I did, I think I did them all live in stream, and I was able to, so we'll do an Eliminator today. So I want to go over the strategy for you guys. And we went over it a lot last season. I think this is the funnest of all contests. So I really want everybody who's watching, I want you guys to be doing Eliminators and follow my approach because you're going to be profitable. I was very profitable in this last year. So effectively what you're looking at is your advance rate every single week. If I got more than half my lineups past that first advance, I'm already winning, right? I've already beaten the odds. And by week 3 in the Eliminator, once you pass week 3, you're in the money. So it only takes 3 weeks of surviving to be in the money. And then it's all about how far can you go. So strategically in this contest, it works very different from your standard best ball contest in the sense that you're really only caring about initially about getting past the first couple weeks. And that's key, right? What's up, Tom? Tom made one live. What's up, my man? I have to start doing adjusting the time. So I'll do some evening ones as well. So some of you guys who have like a real job that you can't be watching during the day can be in here live with us midweek, right? But I'm gonna start up an Eliminator here while I'm talking. So we have not done many Eliminators on stream so far this season. And again, the main reason is because, so the way this works is everybody in this pod that I'm in right now, everybody in this pod competes in week 1, right? And the whole idea is finish in the top 6 in week 1, which is an easy kind of strategy to pull off because usually there's a few people in every draft that draft it incorrectly. And that's why I really like this contest. Now, when I say incorrectly, what do I mean? If you're drafting let's see how long it takes to fill. Let's see if we can actually pull this off live. But, oh, what's up? Dixon, you're always here, my brother. I'm already counting on you. What's up, man? So basically, yeah, it's going to take a while to fill this. Maybe that's why we had to fill it with the chat the last few times. So if you guys want to try to jump in this one, you know, do it. Again, I'm going to probably only do a couple of these Eliminators on stream this year, primarily because, again, we're directly competing with one another for that pod. And last season, I would say advance rates were affected by some of that. So here we go. My preference is to convey the strategy, but you really want to do these in slows, not against other people who kind of understand the strategy of it, because the more of us that understand the strategy in a particular pod, it slightly reduces the advanced potential for that pod, right? So that's a little bit of the Eliminator. Now, let me talk about the strategy real quick. So let's start with what is the strategy to advance in regular best ball, in the BBM, in the DraftKings contest, right? Those contests are all about making the playoffs and then having the best team in those playoff weeks. Everything you did before the playoffs gets wiped out, and it becomes these kind of 1 week contests. But unlike the Eliminator, where as you continue on, you're still in a head-to-head matchup with someone. It never gets to a point where you're up against a whole pile of people. In the in the BBM, in the Best Ball Mania, and those contests, the Best Ball Million, in those contests, people draft them for correlation in the playoff weeks, and that's how we're drafting them, right? We're putting stacks together. We're paying a lot of attention to QB wide receiver approaches. But another thing that people do in the BBM contest is you can do things like 0 RB. You can wait a couple of weeks for a running back who might have started off as a backup running back to, get a starting job due to injury and those kind of things, right? In the Eliminator, let's say you're right. Let's say you take Tank Bigsby, and Saquon Barkley gets hurt and Bigsby takes over, and oh my gosh, Tank Bigsby is leading teams to BBM championships in the final weeks of the season. Well, here's the problem with that. You were eliminated week 1. You're not even in there anymore. You're not even in the contest anymore to take advantage of like a 0 RB approach or a light at running back approach. Now, reminder that this is Underdog, where touchdowns and running back production is superior generally to what you're going to get from a wide receiver. Let me show the example. When we get outside of sort of the top group of wide receivers, let's get rid of this and kind of go into the secondary group here. So outside of, let's say, your top 10 wide receiver, I haven't even looked at this, but I don't even know. This projection number is not my number. This comes from Underdog, but you could just see real quick, like wide receivers after the first 10 or so, they're already down to like 190, 170, 160, where running backs project at these 200 levels. Look how far down you have to go before you start to get to the 160s, right? You're about 20 running backs in, 25, even 30 running backs in before you get down to 160 as a projection. Whereas at wide receiver, 160 is you're getting to these 150s here at WR27. You're at 160 at WR21. So here, WR17 is 170, 18, WR12 is projected 162, right? So just realistically, wide receivers don't score as much in this format as quality wide receivers don't score as much as quality running backs. But more importantly, mid-level wide receivers definitely don't score as well as studly running backs. So this is a format where we want to focus running back early and make sure that we have a stud group of running backs on our team, 3 or 4. I've been taking 4 running backs. I go super robust at times. You'll see if things allow it, I'll go super robust at running back. So here we go. My first pick, I'm picking number 10 overall. I'm just going to take the best available running back at that point, which is Ashton Jeanty. And I like this late first round start. Yeah. Well, you always need to get lucky with those running backs. But I'm going to tell you another little approach here for the Eliminator, Shiv, is you should be handcuffing your running backs in the Eliminator. You know how I always say, definitely don't handcuff your running backs in the BBM contest. The reason is because you're wasting a spot, especially on a premium handcuff. But basically, it's like if Bijan goes down for you and you have his handcuff, you're still going to lose. You're still going to lose because somebody else has Jahmyr Gibbs and the Bijan handcuff. So there'll be better teams than you. In this format, again, all we care about is our head-to-head opponent. And they're not going to have that player. So in this format, we're playing it much more like a redraft style or a cash team in DFS. We're not worried about spike scores. Oh yeah, sorry, Shiv. I last minute pivoted to the eliminator because I want to share this strategy with you guys because I want you in the eliminator, right? You should be doing the eliminator. For me, the reason I want to share it is because this is the most fun contest in season to follow, right? When my eliminator, I never experienced this with best ball last year, but the first thing that I was checking on a Tuesday morning after the week, last week, of course, I had my DFS and we're making big money and we're playing showdowns and we're doing all that fun stuff in season, of course. But every Tuesday morning, I'm like, how many did I advance in the eliminator? And I only did, I think I did either 29 or 39 of them. I think it was like only 29 last year. So anyway, eliminator, we're going to focus on running backs. We're going to handcuff our running backs. And Shiv, you got to rewind it because I already went over. I've been going over this and I want to repeat everything. People get bored. But, the strategy here is running backs first and foremost, right? We want to make sure that we get scoring out of the most robust scoring positions, and we don't have the time to wait for a handcuff or a backup running back to emerge. Like, we don't have the time to wait. We get eliminated week 1. So the people who wait on running back, and we're going to go over these drafts at the end, but the people who wait on running back are the ones who tend to lose. So like somebody in this draft will be like, the wide receivers are dropping. And what they'll do is they'll take a bunch of wide receivers. And then what will happen is they'll get to round 3 and the value will still be on wide receivers. So they'll end up just like waiting on running back and then getting sort of a mid-level group of running backs, which could work for BBM because that mid-level group could start to emerge and become studs. But it's too late. They're already eliminated from the contest. That's the problem with going heavy wide receiver or not running backs early in these kind of drafts. So let's see how it goes. I see Ray's in here with us. Ray, Taylor, and Brown and McBride. Good start, right? Like two running backs. Everybody's grabbing 2. I'm about to be on the clock again. Now, this is a spot in round 3 where I don't need to take a running back. We're at pick 39. I can. I got a couple that I like here for my third guy. So I'm going to look at potentially grabbing a wide receiver with my next spot. Maybe. He took Rice. That I don't like. Olave, Emeka, Garrett Wilson, Ladd. Yeah, so my next man up at wide receiver is Ladd McConkey. So I'm going to put him in there. And then we're going to get another pick, and we're going to grab a running back with this next pick. And I'll have 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds. And that's the approach I want. That's the approach I want to use. That's what I think you should use. So Badger fan takes Montgomery and leaves me my boy Scattaboo, the Scat Man. Now that I have Scat Man on my team, right? First thing I'm going to do is now I'm looking at my running back group, and now I'm trying to figure out who are the handcuffs for these guys, and we're going to star them off. So right off the bat, we've got, it's going to be a while, but I'm just going to put a little star on Tyrone Tracy. I'm going to take a look at the rest of my team here. I got Ashton Janty and Derrick Henry. These aren't really playoffs that have players that have early handcuffs, so we're going to forget about that. And we're going to move on to starting to pay attention to other positions. Already here, you can see this striving pros person, hopefully striving prosperity, hopefully is not in the stream here with us, because I will tell you again, is it better to do it close to the season? It might be. I can't get off enough of them close to. I can't get enough. So basically, yes. I don't know. I don't know what's better, early season or late. That's a good question. We're going to be screwed in this contest if running backs that we take early get hurt in the preseason, but I think that injuries can happen at any time. So I don't know. I don't know if it's better. What I do know is, at the very least, the most important thing is emerging from this pod the first week. And I don't think that anybody else in this pod with us has an advantage over us. So I think it's okay to draft this way. Now, again, looking at this draft so far, everybody's doing pretty much what you would expect. So, like, I'm not really seeing Badger fans. Are you in here? I'd love to know who is in the contest with us right now. But like right here, T Burchell 33, JSN, Jacobs, Neighbors. I hate the Neighbors pick, but I don't mind where he got him. But just know that, like, in this contest, you take Malik Neighbors, even here, that's a little risky, because if he doesn't play those first few weeks, you're going to get zeros. And how are you going to get past those first few weeks to actually use Malik Neighbors, right? Any player who's even mildly injured right now is a massive danger in this format. So just that's something to be aware of. We've got this person here at Striving Prosperity that has still not taken a running back, and they're going to be in some trouble. They're going to be in some trouble. You need running backs scoring for you in week 1. Ivan Drago, this is the eliminator. So again, this is one of the few times I'll do an eliminator on stream. I love the contest. I want to share the strategy with you guys, because this is one of the funnest contests to follow in season, and I think it's the most winnable. I think it's the contest where the field is drafting incorrectly. There's Ray with Trevion Henderson. Oh boy, right? Ray Zanny was on the show with me on Friday. What's up, my brother? And we talked a little bit about Henderson versus Stevenson, and I guess the thought is kind of like, get them both. They're all good. Yeah, Jaylen Warren is a very bad sort of starting point for Striving for Prosperity as a first running back. I don't think that's going to work out so great. Now, Striving Prosperity has such studliness at wide receiver that it might be okay. But generally, I think that if you don't have strong running back scoring, you are not going to advance. And Jaylen Warren as your RB1 is not going to get the job done, in my opinion, right? So I took Christian Watson, who is an injury risk. But on the plus side, let's see here. We got Tony Pollard. Let's go BTJ here. I could have taken Carnell Tate, but again, a rookie, Carnell Tate, I like him, and I probably should have taken him, but there's a little risk in a rookie kind of getting slow to get up to speed in the NFL. I'm not sure that we'll see that with Carnell Tate, but his offense is not that great either, so I want players that are hopefully going to get off to a strong start as well. Remember, our primary goal is we got to get past week 1. All right, let's take a look at the big board. You want quality quarterback play. So a little math of the eliminator. If you think of it in terms of a head-to-head or a cash game, I want you to think of this. You need about 120 points to give yourself 120 fantasy points to give yourself a reasonable chance of advancing. Now, if we look at what a lineup looks like, where are the 120 points coming from, right? We've got 3 running backs that are going to score for us, 15, 30, 45. We've got a quarterback, put 20 on him, that's 65. Now we've got 3 wide receivers, say 10 point each, 75, 85, 95. A tight end gets you another 10, and that's 105. Now, how do we get from 105 to 120? We just need one of the wide receivers to pop for more than 10, which is doable, or for some of our running backs to pop for more than 15. And we definitely need 20 plus from our quarterback in order to advance. So how do I lock in 20 plus from my quarterback position? Usually it's by getting 3 of them. Similar to tight end. How am I going to just lock down 12 to 14 points for my tight end position? It's going to be having a whole pile of them. Try to get one good one in there, but we're going to get a whole pile of those guys. And at running back, we want guys who are going to get off the ground running, that we don't have to wait for them to sort of emerge on their team, and which is why I went very heavy with running back early. I only have 3, but I would actually want a 4th one scoring for me in order to really feel good about this. I want at least 4 running backs that are competing to put up the score for my team every single week. I don't want 3. I don't want to hope that some backup garbage guy gets as an injury and somebody starts ahead of him. That's too risky for this contest. I was able to get Jersey Shore to stick. It's always going to stick. I'm going to hang with Ray Zanny. I'm coming up to Newport in August. We're going to be hanging. Bringing the fam. Not going specifically for that reason, but I'm going, and we're going to hang. I'm going to New England to celebrate the 250th birthday of America. And we're going to go around Boston and see some Revolutionary War things. Going to do a little bit of that this summer with the fam. All right, let's take a look at what everybody's doing here in this draft. Again, Eliminator. I'm coming up on my pick. Ray Zanny, 4 running backs and just 1 wide receiver. You're doing it, brother. You're doing it. And I like it. Right here is, we're in the 80s. So I'm going to tell you guys the way the cadence of drafts seem to go for me. I've done a ton of these. When I get into the 80th picks, this level, I'm starting to look at quarterbacks, right? I want to get quality quarterbacks, and I usually default to Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, it's definitely not like Jersey Shore. Listen, I'm from Jersey and Brooklyn, and Rhode Island is not like Jersey Shore. I live Jersey Shore where I'm from. Like, by the way, Ray, as much as you deny it, all my friends in Brooklyn are like fucking Jersey Shore. They're like the show. So I love that shit, man. I'm not against it. I think it's great. Not overdoing it, but here we go. I'm back on the clock. Second pick. I've got 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs. I can really do anything here. I'm going to take another quarterback. Ooh, you know what? I forgot what I actually wanted to do, but whatever. So now I've got 2 quality quarterbacks on my team. I don't have to take another one for a bit. There we go, on a mortgage Zoom. This is way more fun. So I got my 2 quarterbacks down. Now, why did I take 2 quarterbacks in this zone? So one of the things that I've noticed about the way that Underdog plays out this season and the way the ADPs go is you can wait on quarterback, and it is the correct move. Taking quarterbacks early, I think, harm your team, mostly because they all seem to fall to, like, the good quarterbacks start to go at pick 80 and kind of get wiped out by about pick 110. Yeah, definitely bring your kid. Now, Ray, I'm just letting you know, my kids are not children. They're old. they're adults. I mean, my daughters are in college, or my youngest is 17 and my older one is 20. Older kids. But yes, a little family. We'll do a little meetup. It's going to be fun. So back to it here, guys. I just want to get into this quarterback group. Look at what's happening. Look at where the ADPs are, right? You get the next group, and they all go between about 80 and 110. And then once you get past 110, you get into that next tier of QB3 type of guys. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, well, bro, I didn't even know you were fucking old, man. Got an old-ass daughter, just like me. Old-ass kids. So anyway, all of your quarterbacks come off around here. So I think it actually pays. Oh, no. Well, I like that too. You got to figure out stuff to do in Newport, because I don't know what to do over there. Like, we got to figure out what to do. All right, back to it. Look at all the quarterbacks popping off. Guys, I mentioned this because I mentioned the quarterbacks popping off because this happens in all the drafts. And what I found is the best way to draft this season based on the way ADPs work out is just like that. Embrace the quarterback cluster that happens between 80 and 110. And there's no reason to be at the end of the cluster. That's why I took 2. There's minimal benefit to being towards the end of that quarterback cluster. You want to be in the early part of it, because look at what happens here. We're at pick 98, And all right, Knicks will go, and then Kyler Murray will go, and these two are kind of a little less exciting. And look, and then we start to get into like this secondary group of very mid-level quarterbacks that you don't feel good about. Like, I don't feel good about Sam Darnold giving me 20 plus most weeks. I don't feel good at all about Cam Ward getting me a 20. Malik Willis might never get 20 points the whole fucking season. That's how dog shit he is. Tyler Shook, yeah, maybe. Baker, maybe. So we're in this zone here of the quarterback quality has diminished. So why not just take a couple earlier? Because the player quality hasn't really changed all that much in this zone. The players that go in this range, in this, let's call it 85 to 120 range, you start to get into players that I like, but kind of backup running back types, Rashad White, Brooks, Aaron Jones. That's exactly who I expected to see there. Backup types. Jordan Addison, like, that's not a difference maker, Ray. You need him, but like, not that different from whoever else you're going to get, right? So you're getting, I like Downs there. We're coming up on our pick here, so let me prep for this, and I'm going to tell you right now, guys, on this upcoming pick, I'm going to tell you, hopefully this person doesn't take them, the player that I have in more lineups than any other player in all of fantasy this year, and that is Kyle Pitts. All right, so I'm so glad that I just got him. Hold on. Let me give you a visual of my excitement about getting Kyle Pitts just now. This is what I looked like in the background. And I shizzed in my pants. That's right. I got excited. Kyle Pitts. I have Kyle Pitts in virtually every in almost every draft that I've taken so far. I try to get him every single time. All right, here we go. Back on the clock, and now we have decisions to make. Running back, I still have some quality running backs that are going to play. And I think that's a better approach than grabbing more wide receiver talent. So I'm going to grab Mason here. Note that the Vikings have a rookie. I believe his name is Desmond Claiborne. He's on my ranking sheet now. I've been going. We'll get into that later. But in this part of the draft, I want players at running back. So I get my fourth running back who's going to be playing regularly. Like Jordan Mason's going to be on the field. He's going to play. He's like a 50% share type of running back right now. Although Jordan Mason could easily be replaced. So that could happen. Yeah, the hopium. No, I did the jizz in my pants scene. I actually want to see if YouTube gives me a strike on this video for that, because I've been getting video strikes for playing those little snippets. I'm like, dude, it's just 1 second. It's 5 seconds of a snippet. Give me a strike. Hopium. All right. Anyway, let's see where we're at in this draft. So again, we are drafting an eliminator here. And my team so far, I've got 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 quarterbacks, and a tight end. So my full team is here. And now I'm to the point of backups. My running back, I spent most of my equity on the running back position. Janty Henry Scattaboo, the scat man. We've got Lawrence and Herbert. And as a bonus, again, not a necessity, but as a bonus, I've got Lawrence stacked with, I've got Trevor Lawrence stacked with Brian Thomas Jr., and I've got Herbert stacked with McConkey. So I did build some little stacks there. That is not necessary here. I did it because it was available and it didn't cost me any extra to do the stack. But I don't think you need to worry about stacking so much. Oh, there goes Tyrone. Well, maybe I should have taken Tyrone Tracy there. I thought he would get back to me on this next pick and I could get that. I thought I was going to be able to get that handcuff, but no luck. Yeah, brother. That's what I'm talking about, Pantera. If I check my percentages, I think I'm over 42% on Pitts. That's like as much as you can get. I would like you to type in the chat your thoughts on Zach Branch, but have you been getting him with your last pick in the draft? How are you acquiring so much of Zach Branch, give me a comment, Pantera. Give me a comment, explain it. Give me your justification. I'm not disagreeing. I agree. I like it. But I want you to give the justification because you mentioned it in the chat if you can. All right. So I'm about to be back on the clock. Again, 4 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 quarterbacks. Now I'm just looking around. I should have loaded up the I forgot to load up the thing there. But we're going to look at wide receivers here. I think I'll go Coker. Coker's a really interesting play. He just got a contract. And one thing I love about Coker is if you actually paid attention to the hang on, let's see where we're at. Coker, Pitts, Lawrence. Take a look at quarterbacks. We're starting to run low, but there's still my QB3 is not that critical. Here we go. Nothing going on at running back. We're going to grab Rashid Shaheed here. I want to see what the ADP is for Branch. Okay, so Branch has been moving up. He's at 191 at this point, but I think earlier in the offseason, he was not even being drafted. So he's one of those ADP risers. And I love the picks because really, when you think about Atlanta, who the hell is the WR2? Like, we know Pitts, we've got London, but who the hell else are they throwing to? You got, so Branch could be that guy. I think Atlanta will be fine with Tua at the helm, and I even think Penix will be fine. Like, I think Atlanta is going to be just fine, no matter who the quarterback is. So yeah, that WR2. If you guys remember a couple of years ago, Darnell Mooney did great in the WR2 role on that team, but not so great last year. Yeah. And you're getting a lot of Tua, huh? Interesting. Now, Tua, I'd be a little more concerned about because I'm not sure that, like, if you're drafting Tua, I would just be concerned that at some point over the course of the season, Tua will be replaced by Penix. Like, I don't think that quarterback situation is all that stable in Atlanta. I'm not sure what's going to happen there. So, for the purpose of the eliminator, though, again, we're not that concerned about what happens later in the season. We're only concerned about like the first few weeks initially. And then I remember, like I said, last year, what was happening was you'd start to get to the late weeks with your teams and between bye weeks. Here's another thing to pay attention. Oh, both of my quarterbacks are on bye week 7. So this is a problem. This is another thing. I can't, what's wild? Here, I've got 2 running backs on bye week 13. That's not good, but at least I have other ones that aren't on bye. So bye weeks are going to be really, really important in this format as well, because we're trying to get past weeks. And one good way to do it is to pick players who have very late bye weeks. These 2 guys with week 7, that is not good, right? I'm not satisfied to get to week 7 and to lose. So one of the funny things about drafting these on the, one of the interesting things I would say, yeah, I think when Mendoza gets in, he's not going to be sat no matter what. The Raiders are not going to be competitive. So, but once they bring him in, it's going to be the Mendoza show no matter what happens. I do not see them pulling him in any circumstance. So my answer to this, Shiv, is he will not. Once they start him, he's going to play the rest of the season. Because remember, the Raiders are not a team that's competing for anything. Just shouting out the Chig Okonkwo pick here for Matthew DeWood. That is an early take of Okonkwo, a little bit ahead of ADP, but I absolutely love Chig Okonkwo this year. He's going to smash. And if I had to have a second guy, like when I don't get Pitts, I'm like, I need to get Chig on my team. So Chig Okonkwo is going to be set up for a massive season. I have no doubt he's going to be awesome. So a couple of other little bits here. I see there's like a run on tight end happening, but generally also we want to make sure to have enough tight end talent on the roster to cover us for the bye weeks and for all of the things that are going to come up and that would generally kind of slow things down. So we're at 153 right now. I'm on the clock. I've got, let's see here. There's no real running backs I'm excited for here. I think we're going to just get our next tight end. Let's go Kenyon Saduk. I'm going to try to get 3 or even 4 tight ends in this draft. and I definitely need another quarterback because of the issue I have with bye weeks. So we're going to try to get another quarterback here real quick as well. I need one, obviously, that's not on the bye week, but also I wouldn't mind having more potential quarterback scoring power coming in. So we got Lawrence, Herbert. I can go Geno here, maybe Brissett or Tua. I'm going to just go Geno because I feel pretty confident that Geno is the starter for the Jets. I don't know. Who else are they going to play? So at least I get a person on, at least I get a quarterback with a pulse here. Striving Prosperity, if we remember his draft, I want to, we have a while till our my next pick. Oh, no. Yeah, I've got a while to my next pick. So let's see what this Striving Prosperity fellow did about the running backs. Okay, because he had a weird start. All those stud wide receivers. Then he goes running back. Okay. All right. So this guy's not, he's playing an approach. Again, this is a bit more of a BBM approach to me, getting these secondary running backs, but it could work. Also, secondary quarterback, not great quarterback talent on this one. George Kittle, an injured tight end for your TE1. I'm not sure if I love that either. So again, to me, this specific drafter is exactly what I was talking about with someone who's really drafting a really solid BBM team, but not really drafting the way you should, I think, for an eliminator. Yeah, really different from the approach that I would use for an eliminator. One downside of drafting these on slows on the app, guys, when you're using the app, you don't really see the bye weeks. And that's a problem on the slows. Like, I have nonstop. There's Travis Hunter, one of my favorites. I have nonstop, things going off on slows. Let's see here. All right, here we go. I'm going to start to prep for my next pick and just start starring off some potential players. We don't know who the quarterback for the Browns is going to be yet. I guess people who draft a little later will have some advantage there. Dylan Sampson's a solid running back. I think I want to keep an eye on him. Holani for very late picks. Wide receiver group, not a whole lot of good happening here. Like, not a whole lot of players that I'm excited for. There's Zachariah Branch, if we can get him. He goes 191. We're at like 170. So still a ways off until we have to worry about that. I'm going to put in some of the names that I like here and just start to kind of pile them up. Some of these guys that I think can be scoring, some of these solid late last pick in the draft type of guys. But more importantly than all of that, we want to get some more tight end talent on this team. So let's see, we've got 2 tight ends so far, really good ones, but I still need a third. I've got 3 quarterbacks. I wouldn't even mind a 4th. 5 wide receivers, definitely can use another 1 or 2 of those as well. So 179. I look at the ADP and I'm just kind of comparing which guy probably won't be there for my next run. And I kind of pick based on that. And, you don't want to fall too deep in love with any one player here. So, like, I prefer Tank Dell. He's one of my guys that I take all the time. If I can get him, yeah, I'm just going to take Tank Dell with this next pick. You ever wake up and miss pick and slows? All the time, bro. Literally all the time. Ray says, oh, gee, I did see the shit with Geno. Yeah, I mean, dude, if the Jets got Mac Jones, that would be a whole game changer. Like, that would be a whole change from what has been going on. I'm gonna take your guy Branch. There we go. We are done at wide receiver with 7. And for my next 2 picks, I'm gonna try to fill in tight ends or tight end and quarterback. Let's see if there's any quarterback action that's any good. No, the quarterbacks are pretty much gone that are any good. Although I think Kirk Cousins will start. So I think Kirk Cousins is kind of a useful quarterback early as well. And then tight end, more important. We want to get a couple of these names. Standard team is standard. Am I right? Wait, I did see the Geno Smith stuff. I don't think it matters. They didn't arrest anybody. I think it's all bullshit. But Ray Zanny, if the Jets got Mac Jones, that would be a different team than the version that they have right now. Mac Jones is good. He's a good player. And I think the Jets would be more competitive. It would make me much more interested in like Jets pass catchers and Jets offense in general with Mac Jones. I think right now, as I see the Jets team, I see them as a team that's going to tank to try to draft an elite quarterback this year. And I hate teams that are tanking. I mean, I feel the same about the Cardinals a little bit. I kind of look at that team and go, they're kind of like a garbage team that's just going to tank it. And that doesn't get me very excited for like what the possibilities are with the team like that. So it's not my favorite scenario, kind of a tanking team situation. Remember, these last picks, we want names of players that are going to produce early and often, quickly, without without really having to wait too much for injuries or that kind of thing. Yeah, no, I think Mac Jones is a good player. He looked really good helming up the Jaguars when Trevor Lawrence got hurt. Like, he looked really good doing that. So, he does seem like a player destined for another shot at starting in the NFL. I like Braylon Allen as well. My issue right now is 2 tight ends is really not enough in this format, so we're gonna have to get a couple more going. I took a lot of Jake Tongas early in the season because I didn't think that George Kittle would be ready for the start of the season. I thought he was like a November kind of guy, but oops, that hasn't worked out. It looks like George Kittle will be back and actually playing early this season, which is very much not what I would have expected. Let's see here. We still need tight ends here. And Njoku, I don't love. Colby Parkinson, kind of acceptable. Darnell, kind of acceptable. There's not a whole lot going on if we continue down the list here. And Mike Gesicki is acceptable as well. So I'm going to add a few of those tight end names to my mix here. No more quarterbacks. So pay attention to like where we're at late in the draft. This late in the draft, you could still grab there goes Desmond Claiborne. I like that pick as well. But again, Desmond Claiborne, Striving Prosperity is actually probably a good best ball guy. Now I'm seeing some of those picks. I think this person is like a good best ball guy. I'm just not sure that this style of drafting is good for the Eliminator. Like that style, that's a great looking team for BBM. We'll see if it works in the Eliminator. All right, so we are down to a pretty full team. I could grab a running back here or a tight end. I'm going to go with the tight end here. And let's just go Colby Parkinson. We know that the Rams love those tight ends, so whatevs, right? A couple of he has a overlapping bye week, but it's late enough that it's not too big of a deal. That's it. We've got our draft complete. We'll take a quick look at what everybody did here, and then we'll move on. Guys, let me know in the comments if we should do a BBM style draft. We'll do a puppy, or if we want to jump over to a DraftKings and do a DraftKings draft. It's all good with me. Right? Marshawn Lloyd, just looking at the last picks. Ray Davis is a guy that I really like for your last pick in a lot of these. Justice Hill's okay. There goes Tongas. Tongas, again, not as excited about him if George Kittle comes back. So that's something to pay attention to. Let's take a look at some of these drafts here. Again, a lot of people have got this. It looks like a lot more people are figuring out this format. And maybe I should have shut the fuck up last year about explaining how it works, but it is what it is, right? So let's take a look at what people did here. Global sensation, again, really strong start. I don't love Breece Hall, but generally 1, 2, 3, 4 running backs in the first 6 picks. I don't mind it at all. Evans and McLaurin, a couple of injury guys. Who cares? They're healthy to start the season usually. And this is a pretty solid draft. Yeah, we got 3 in the first. Most of these guys have it figured out right. King Calorie. Yeah, this is fine. Maybe waited a little too long for that 4th running back, but got a whole pile of them. 6 running backs. That's really solid. Let's see. Matthew here. Kyron, Bucky Irving. I don't like the names. Kyron or Bucky. Jones. Actually, I don't think this is a very good draft. So Matthew here, downside for me is I don't really like Kyron or Bucky Irving this season very much. And then the draft capital, maybe a little too much on the quarterback position, a little too soon. And then we're down to sort of really mid-level running backs late. So I think this might have some trouble. Yeah, I like this start. Williams, Javonte, Judkins, Dowdle. Again, not too bad with Puka. Puka's basically better than a running back in terms of his consistency. So that's like an extra running back. That's really good. Tyrone Tracy in there. Yeah, everybody did okay. I don't really see any turds here. I don't like T. Burchell. Hopefully none of you guys are none of these people. If you're in here, let me know. I don't want to be too harsh. But T. Burchell 33. Jacobs, I like that pick there. Price, not in love with it. Then Brooks. So this player is going to have a hard time getting the kind of scoring out of the running back position that you'd want in order to advance in this contest. So I do not love this draft at all for T. Burchell, mostly because, yeah, as much as I love JSN, I think, and the Brock Bowers pick, I get it. I didn't like the running backs that were available there. I like the Jacobs pick, but right here, instead of Neighbors, who is not going to play early in the season, and I get that that's a value drop, I think you had to take a Judkins there or a Basil Tootin or somebody different, right? I think that's where this draft kind of went a little wackadoodles. And then, again, a lot of draft capital spent on quarterbacks, 77, 92. I don't mind taking the quarterbacks there, but then we get Jonathan Brooks, and you're going to need Jonathan Brooks to do some damage early to make up for like Price, who does not look like any sort of a locked-in starter. So yeah, you're going to need some, Bowers to put up some big numbers early to get through those weeks. I get it. It's like, I see what happened here. You're in round 2 and you want to go heavy running back, but you're like, man, I don't like these guys. I don't, all these studs are gone. So you just say, fuck it, I'll take Bowers. And again, that's cool. You almost have to I don't know what else you could do. I don't even think it's a reach. I really, for me, I think where this one I would have gone different, the only spot really, I would have gone Judkins and then maybe Henderson over Price, like something a little more locked in. But overall, I could see what happens here. Then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, man, I need a running back. Brooks, you almost had to take more of them to make up for sort of, I've had the issue with Gibbs starts where I don't like Breece Hall or Love. But what I've done in those is I just reach for ETN and Javonte Williams here. So like that's one of those things that come up. Let's see. Creator. This is another one. Sketchy draft. One quarterback. So already let's just look at this person and explain what went on here. Creator 2, this guy, he was like, I took Josh Allen early. I'm not going to take another quarterback. So already this team is set up to absolutely lose on the bye week. Whenever Josh Allen has a bye week, he's going to get a 0 from his quarterback and he's going to lose and he's going to be eliminated that week. And that's what you have to understand with the eliminate. What week is the Josh Allen? What week is the Buffalo bye? Right? I don't have it in front of me, but if you guys in the chat know, this person's going to be eliminated that week because he's going to be missing 25 points from his stud quarterback, and he didn't even bother to draft a backup. What he did do was, because he only took one running back, because this guy only took one running back early, so then he goes crazy later on. RJ Harvey, Rachaad White, fine. These are guys that will score a little bit, that will be involved, but like not that much. And then you're down to Jonah Coleman, Tucker, guys who are not going to play in the first weeks. So Creator not only set himself up to have a bye week with Josh Allen where he's going to be eliminated for sure, then you can't take a luxury quarterback and a luxury tight end in the same. This is like a dead lineup. This is who you want to go up against. Took a luxury quarterback and a luxury tight end. Again, these guys will have a bye week, and then this player is going to be eliminated from this contest. So bad draft for Creator. This is not how you draft. I don't like it for any approach, but you cannot leave a bye week open. What are my thoughts on A.J. Brown? I like A.J. Brown. I like Drake May. I love the Patriots offense this year. And if A.J. Brown, they've never had a stud wide receiver on that team. to demand the football, I think A.J. Brown's going to be great. I'm on board. I am on team A.J. Brown. Do I like him at the top of round 2, like right at the beginning? No, probably not. I don't like that, but I do like A.J. Brown. I like him where he goes here late in round 2. I think this is a good, like this guy with the Puka A.J. Brown start, that's great. Really strong. And again, T. Burchell 33, it's just kind of how things fell with Bowers. But I think once that happened, I would have avoided Neighbors. But let's see. Again, Charbonnet's another injured player. There's just a lot of injured players on this approach that you were kind of almost forced to take. And I don't know. We're going to see how that works out. But I think this is not how I would want to do it going forward. Again, Creator, terrible draft. No running backs. McCaffrey, and then a whole bunch of nothing. And if I'm taking McCaffrey, by the way, this is another thing. If you take McCaffrey in the eliminator, you should really make sure to get those backup guys. Yeah, the Pacheco fall is great. Again, talking about Pacheco, if I get Jahmyr Gibbs in this format, that's where I really want Pacheco. But you got him. I don't know that Pacheco might wind up, by the way, Tom. He might wind up like a Montgomery light role, which would be great, and scoring every week. So Pacheco, I've kind of written him off because I just assume they're just going to give it all to Jahmyr Gibbs, but I could be absolutely wrong there. And if they put Pacheco in more of a Montgomery role, I think he's going to be great. So he'll put up numbers for you, and the perfect kind of that's like a perfect best ball spot where you wouldn't want to start him in your redraft league because you never know when the points are going to be there, but they'll just pop for a couple touchdowns every once in a while because that team scores 5 touchdowns every week. So it's fine. I don't remember which ones I've gone through. I'm going to striving. I'm going to talk about this guy here real quick. Striving for prosperity. I think we did we do Shoppy yet? Dr. Space. Well, here's another one. Cook, Hampton, and then doesn't get your third running back in there until Krosky Merritt. I don't, and then a whole bunch of them at the end that are not really going to play. So that's concerning. Rashee Rice is Kyle. So I love Rashee Rice this year as well. I think he's being underdrafted because of bullshit reasons. He's not in jail. He's fully healthy. Mahomes has no one else to throw to. I think Rashee Rice is one of those guys. I love getting him in round 3. He's the first name I click in round 3 every time. So I think Rashee Rice is great. And again, I'll go through my draft here. Rice went, and I took Ladd McConkey, who I have ranked right behind Rashee Rice. So Ladd McConkey is another one of those guys. If you guys have been following my drafts since I started doing them about a month and a half ago, lives, McConkey was going like in the 40s, in the mid to late 40s. And now he's moved all the way up to 34. And a lot of the players that I was high on early that I was telling you guys, like Jonathan Brooks, was going in the 140s, 150s. A lot of these names have now moved up massively in ADP. I guess that speaks to the advantage of drafting early. There is an advantage in that the field is off on some of these players, but I'm seeing that a lot of my leans, like Rashee Rice, grabbing him all the time, Josh Jacobs in round 3 every single time, those leans are starting to be reflected in ADP, unfortunately. So the edge that we had earlier in the offseason is getting squeezed right now. The fade on Kyron Williams here as well, and the fade on Bucky Irving. Bucky was going around 3. Now he's going around 4. I still fade Bucky all the time. So I've been fading him. So, let's see here. Striving for prosperity just did not take quality running backs and instead took a whole pile of mid-level running backs. We'll see how that goes. Would I draft Worthy as well? Yes. I like Worthy where he goes around pick 100. I think you're perfect. Like if you had your quarterback, the problem is Worthy goes in the quarterback hotspot. So I don't wind up with a ton of him. Like he goes in the quarterback zone in pick 90. And that's usually where I'm getting my first or second quarterback. But that zone there, the name I like Worthy. I love Quentin Johnston. I love him there. And then, of course, all of the wide receivers or the quarterbacks that go in that zone, they're all really good. So it depends on how your draft goes. I love those players, but they also randomly, what the hell did I just do? I just did something. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Okay. So this 5-6 spot is brutal for the eliminator. It's perfect for Hero RB. I think the challenge, yeah, I mean, there are spots that are going to be, what is this? What did I do? I did something on my screen here, guys. Turn it off. I don't know what's going on. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, there we go. Ooh, I just discovered a cool new feature on StreamYard, a teleprompter. That is pretty cool. I'm going to use that for videos going forward. Cool, that just popped up on me. Is Kenny Walker going to have a big year? Ooh, I love these questions, Kyle. Welcome to the stream. Yes. Are you a Chiefs fan? Because these are a lot of Chiefs-centric questions. But yes, guys, love the Chiefs. Mahomes finally has a quality running back. Kenny Walker's so much better than Isaiah Pacheco. It's not even funny. You're going to see such a difference in the running game for the Chiefs this year. The Chiefs want to lean on the run, weirdly, considering they have Mahomes. But yeah, I love Kenny Walker this year. I like him really even at the top of round 1. Oh, they're your keepers. There you go. Well, you got maybe too much going on. But yeah, I'm keeping all those guys. If I'm in a keeper league, keep Kenny Walker. Absolutely. He goes at the top of round 1 at round 2. That is a great keeper no matter where you have him from. Rashee Rice, do not believe the donkeys. Do not believe the hipsters. You know who's rooting against? Who's telling people not to draft Rashee Rice? He went to jail. He's a bad person. Those dorks are the ones that are doing that. You don't come to my stream to get freaking dork advice from the lemmings, the donkeys and the dorks. That's not what I'm here to win at fantasy football. I'm here to win best ball. I'm here to win fucking DFS. We put big money on the line. I don't listen to those dorks. They're almost always wrong. I use the same approach for stock investing, for everything. When I hear a bad take and then the crowd takes on a bad take and they listen, I love it. I fucking love it. I root for it. Yeah. Tell everybody not to draft Rashee Rice. He's a bad man. He beat up his wife. Shut the fuck up. Bullshit. Beat up his wife. He didn't do shit. You don't know. You don't know what goes on. All I care about is, are you going to produce for my fantasy squad? And are you going to make me money in my pocket? He's in jail right now. What do you think they do in jail? He's out of jail. What do you think they do in jail? They fucking work out. There's nothing else to do. Have you ever seen prisoners? They're ripped. You ever see prisoners? Jeez. Fucking ripped in jail. Rashee Rice came out, tatted up. He's all fucking tatted up now. He's got face tats. Got a little... Fucking Rashee Rice got a little teardrop going over here. He's part of a gang. Jail experience wasn't that bad for him. I don't care. Make me money. That's it. Hell yeah. Huzzah to the subscriber. You're not going to get bullshit here, guys. I'm going to tell you how to win. If you were here with me last year, you got the fucking plays that helped you advance, that helped you win. We crushed DFS. That's what we do. And I'm not going to listen to the crowd. I listen to the crowd to know what not to do. All right, my draft. So, where I started, I had a choice. Who do you want? I took Janty over Barkley. It could have been Kenny Walker. I sometimes take Kenny Walker here. A lot of times I take James Cook here. That's my favorite, right? I love the James Cook pick. I like actually Dr. Space's start here with Cook and Hampton. Great, right? I like my start here. Give me Janty. Give me Derrick Henry. What's the downside of Derrick Henry? You guys know. The downside of a Derrick Henry is when the Ravens are losing a game, he doesn't do shit. Like, he disappears. But when they're winning, he's getting you 20 plus and 2 touchdowns. So this is a player that when it's working is going to cause your team to advance that week, right? I mix it in with Janty, who's sort of an all-purpose guy. He's going to be on there doing his thing, win or lose. The Raiders probably going to be losing a lot, but they're going to lean heavy on Janty. He's not my absolute favorite because I like running backs on teams that win games, and I don't think the Raiders are going to win that much, but they got to lean heavy on Janty, and James Cook wasn't available, and, so I went that way. But again, I've taken Walker over Janty and Barkley over Janty before. It's no problem. The problem with Barkley is similar. Barkley because of that tush push, doesn't score as many touchdowns. He doesn't score the easy touchdowns, and this format requires touchdowns. It's half-point PPR. I need the tutties, and that's what Derrick Henry does. He smashes in touchdowns, right? Gets Scattaboo. You know what Scattaboo's like Derrick Henry light. If he could stay healthy, all he's going to do is smash in touchdowns. As few as the Giants will score, it's going to be him doing the scoring. So I like Scattaboo right there. I also like Montgomery. So, if Montgomery was available, I probably, but, I have him ranked one ahead of Scattaboo. So again, I really like the Badger fan draft here. He kind of did the same thing as me. And fuck, man, that makes me happy. Makes me think the Badger fan is a pretty sharp guy. Right? That's a sharp dude. Fucking drafted. Looks just like my draft. Okay. I mean, me and Badger fan, are you in here? Our drafts look identical. I like Badger fan's draft. I like my draft in this one. They look the same. Two quarterbacks and a tight end in the quarterback tight end zone between 80 and kind of 110. That's exactly how you should do it. And so, I mean, well done. Well done to Badger fan. All right. I'm going to shut this one down. We went over it. Kyle, what about George Kittle? Achilles injury? George Kittle's the Pitbull drafts. Hold on, going too fast. But George Kittle coming off injury, I'm concerned about the injury. I've never heard of a player coming back that quick. So the fact that they're saying George Kittle's going to be ready now for week 1 is bananas. I don't think he will be as good of a asset as he was before the injury. We've seen guys come off of this and not look that good. So, but where we're getting George Kittle is so cheap right now that actually he becomes a value. George Kittle, if he's fully healthy, is going around pick 50. So now we're getting him at 115, just rolling the dice on an injury. Saquon Barkley having a smoke show, super hot female agent does not shock me at all, Ray. Doesn't shock me. These dudes want to be around hot chicks, and I get it. So do I. She was a senior. Oh, there you go. Well, she's a little older now. She's a little too old for me. That would put her at about 47 years old. It's a little old. Where are the Pitbull drafts? I haven't done any Pitbull drafts, but I'm down for whatever. Soup's talking about the peptides, and all I have to say about peptides is, what the fuck is going on in the world with these peptides? New drugs being invented every 2 seconds. I can't even keep up with it. I can't keep up. Peptides. What the fuck is going on? By the way, is peptides a thing where we're going to have like a new steroid situation going on in sports, but like these legal steroids? Is it legal steroids? What is a peptide? I don't know. Who are my least exposed players? Tom, I want to do a video. I'm going to do a video. I've been thinking about it, about guys who I haven't drafted yet, because I need to sit down and oh, you can't fill the fast one. So I've got to do what I can do on a stream, which means I need a contest that fills fast, guys. You know what? Let me get it. I want to answer all your questions. Hang on. Injured guys. Yeah, I want to learn about peptides. I don't really understand it, bro. Oh, shit. You got him? What is a peptide? I don't know what this is. Am I too old? I don't know. Ask me about players, Kyle. I do not like Breece Hall. Again, watch my streams here. I want you to be with me all the time so you understand and go. You understand like what happens in fantasy football every fucking year. Every year I hear the same shit. Pushing running backs because of role where they're not paying attention to the team. If the team sucks, the running backs don't do well. So that's my issue with Breece Hall. If we think the Jets will suck, then why the fuck are we taking their running back who's not even a workhorse? They like to mix in other guys. Why are we taking them this early? I have almost zero exposure to Breece Hall because the Jets suck. Jesus Christ, Thomas, what the fuck are you doing? What does it do? Why? How did we just invent a whole new thing in humanity? What does this stuff do, guys? Do you even know what you're taking? What the This has gone off the rails. You're losing weight. All right, so peptides are GLP-1, help you lose weight. But also I can get ripped at the gym taking peptides? Like, what doesn't it do? And what's the downside? There's no such thing. There's no free lunch on Wall Street, guys. There's got to be a downside. I don't know, though. I'm not speaking from knowledge. I don't understand the peptide thing. Fuck, man. All right, let's not. Is it legal? Are these things? Is it steroids? Are NFL players taking peptides? But real question. Are NFL players like strength? Are baseball players hitting home runs because of peptides right now? Like I heard a whole thing about baseball players hitting more home runs than ever this year, and there was some cockamamie excuses about shaving the bat and this and all this other nonsense. What if they're just taking peptides? Guys, if you need peptides, check out Martina Mero. I don't know. I'm not trying to get banned on YouTube here, but check out Martin Tamero's eBay channel where you could buy peptides. Jeez. I can sell legal drugs. That sounds like a business I need to get into. I don't know, guys. I don't know. No recommendation there. I usually think things that seem too good to be true are too good to be true. All right. Where do I get back to my NFL contest? Why is it showing me this? What is this? What the fuck is going on? Oh, that's Pick'em? All right. Oh, yeah, there we go. That was weird. Bro, first of all, if it was made from kimono dragon venom, I want some just because of that. That's crazy. Kyle, we go live every week on Wednesday and Friday at noon, and I'm trying to add in an evening. I actually want input from the crowd. I'm trying to add in an evening live, like an 8 p.m. one, to hang with like the crew that has like a job. So maybe we'll start to do like Tuesday nights as well. But right now we're scheduled live every Wednesday and Friday at noon. We're doing drafts. We're talking shit. We're having some fun in here. As you can see, I'm not the best at being disciplined about jumping into the next one because I do enjoy talking shit and hanging out with everybody. So you know what? Fuck it. Let's go to DraftKings. I haven't done many DraftKings drafts. Let's give them a little bit of attention here. Yeah, I mean, extracted. This all sounds great, but no, we won't do Wednesday night dart night. First of all, because I do Wednesday afternoon and I can't do two of these. Keeping my energy up for a stream of 2 hours is all I can do in a single day without collapse. So let's go for an NFL one. And guys, a couple other notes here. I have a funny thing about Underdog. You guys know that there's a tool now, apparently, that can check and see what somebody has done on Underdog, like their past history. And there's Ray Zanny, you must be seeing this, but there's a whole thing going on Twitter where people are using that tool to check people's BBM. We'll do a Millie Maker one. You know what? Millie Maker's also giving away some free shit. So I'm going to go into the BBM. Let's go. On DraftKings, Millie Maker, let's do it. Fine. I haven't done many of these. Not fair to the crowd. So let's get this going. DraftKings, Millie Maker. Here we go. Enter. Here's what I think about Bucky. I think even if he stays healthy, he's in a split, and it's a bad scene, and you shouldn't draft him. Yeah. Your boy, my boy, your boy. So Ray is effectively best friends with a guy who has been out there for the past. I don't fully agree with the roast, but what you're seeing, checking location. Come on, bro. What you're seeing. All right, let me explain what's going on Twitter. So you're able to now look at the BBM $25 Best Ball Millionaire the big contest on Underdog. Come on, DraftKings. Are you serious? You're able to see what people's returns have been over the years. And one of the most prominent, you too? The fuck is going on here, dude? I'm trying to give DraftKings some fucking attention, and they're making me look bad. All right, let's try this again. What is this checking location? I'm live streaming. So it just took a minute because I'm on a stream. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here with this DraftKings thing right now. Like, let me try it on my other screen. Like, what? This has been happening more and more on DraftKings. Come on, bro. Well, what you're seeing is the effect of live streaming on this computer while trying to start a draft. This is ridiculous. I'm going to let it. Please remember, you must be in an area where you're allowed to. Yeah, I am, dude. I'm playing on DraftKings for freaking. I might have been the first person ever to play on DraftKings. Yeah, I might have to do the phone thing. All right, let me. Fuckers. I was trying to get in there with you guys on this draft. I don't even know where my phone is right now. No. You know what? The problem is I don't even know where my phone is at this moment. It's not in front of me. I must have left it somewhere. So that's awkward. Try it one more time. Live streaming. But anyway, let me get back to the story. If I can't get in here, I'm just going to jump back to Underdog and do an Underdog one for now because I do not have my phone in front of me. I was trying to give DraftKings some love, but they're going to fuck us with their tech. Nothing I can do about that. Yeah, no, I don't have my phone in the office here. Dude, fuck Chig. Chig is not. Chig, Ben is not going to take. It's going to be Chig. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I can't turn my phone off and I can't turn my computer off and on. I'm live streaming. I'm on a stream. I've never seen that happen. Come on, man. All right. This is just ridiculous. Let me try it on my other screen. Like not on the live streaming. I'm just going to look and see if I can get in there on this other screen. If not, I'm just going to shift over to Underdog. And I'll show you guys the overlay tool, which is kind of cool also. All right. So I'm going to try it one more time. I'm trying DraftKings on a different screen. If it doesn't work, then... No, it's not working again. Sorry, guys. I'm not going to be able to do a DraftKings one. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on there. So I'm just going to go back to BBM. I'm going to do a BBM Best Ball Mania one, guys. So sorry, no choice. But this will be a $25 BBM. And what I'll do for this one is I'll load up my overlay tool for this one. So that'll be kind of cool. So here we go. Sorry, for the DraftKings people, I tried. I don't know what just happened there, but we are live. And so you only can do what you can do. Boom. BBM, $25. Now you can judge me because I will have an entry in the BBM. So let me talk about the BBM real quick. This was that situation. So like you can now go back and check and see like based on a username, what that username has done, but like what their returns are, but exclusively on the BBM. Exclusive. Gunnar Helm, acceptable, but not great. Acceptable. Gunnar. Wait. Retta is essentially, what the fuck? Guys, what are you even saying right there? I don't know. I don't understand any of this. I'm not a scientist, but what I do know is I got pick number 1 and I like that spot in BBM. So that's what I'm doing. We're doing a $25 entry, and now you'll be able to type my username in that tracker thing and see how good of a player I am. But what I was getting to, so you can now check and see a person's returns in the BBM contest. One of the most prominent influencers in the space, best ball expert for multiple companies, okay, been putting shit out there for years, and they checked their returns on the BBM, and they're in the bottom 1% of drafters. Effectively, have lost all their money, right? They lost all their money. Their return in the BBM has been 0. Hold on. Let me see if I can get my overlay going here. Control R. All right, check it out. So now I can introduce you all to the draft assistant as well. Let's see if my back end, actually, I know, no, it's offline. All right, forget it. I thought I haven't loaded up the back end of that, so I can't have that live on screen. I still do have an overlay though, guys, that we've built. I can't show it right now. It's not loaded, but I'm working on making that a product that I could share with you guys. I do have some beta testers testing it right now. But again, the most prominent influencer. So I went back and looked at that person and what they've been recommending for the last few years. And so, I mean, Ray-Zan, you know. So prominent influencer in the best ball space, and yet one of the losingest players in all of best ball. So why have they been losing? It's not because of anything bad. These are tournaments, right? These are GPP level contests. And if you take extreme approaches, what happens in a GPP, in a tournament setting, is when you take an extreme approach, when it works, you win the whole thing. But when it's not working, you lose everything. And the push for the last 3 seasons from a lot of the, let's call it best ball community, if you were watching people who weren't me, they were saying draft 0 RB. Draft, don't worry about running backs, take other players, take running backs late, let injuries happen, and that gives you a material advantage with much better wide receivers and tight ends and quarterbacks. And then don't worry about it. You'll get your running backs later, and when injuries happen, they will elevate those teams to championships. Now, the reason they said that was because back in 2022, specifically 2022, it was the year of 0 RB, meaning in 2022, a lot of the there was a few things that happened that year that caused the 0 RB to work. And that's the thing that no one explains. When you watch their shows, oh, there's Ray. When you watch their shows, when you watch their approach, they never explain why. Why did it work once? What is it? What are the mechanics of, oh, Jeremy, you're in here with us? There we go. All right. Yeah, there we go. Barkley, Derrick Henry, that's solid. Are you Reyes Island, Jeremy Willick? I'm assuming that's you. C-Mac? Wait, no. Oh, on DraftKings. Oh, okay, you're in the other. I like that approach on DraftKings. All right, see who else is in here. We're just in here with Ray Zani. Reyes for Island sounds like a name that I've seen before, so that could be somebody here in the chat as well. But again, let me get back to the 0 RB thing. I want to explain what happened. I want to explain what happened there. And why I ain't mad at that influencer who has not won anything in the last 3, literally lost 100% of their entry fees in this contest for multiple seasons in a row. The reason I'm not mad at that person is because, listen, they're pursuing a strategy that when it does work, it really helps you win. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to be up at 8. Yeah, that's right. Ship it. I'll be. That's I'm going to be. I check myself, and I have had 0 drafts in this contest. So it's like I haven't drafted in this contest, so it was 0. I like the cheaper ones. I'm going to be real with you guys. My preference are cheaper contests. So let's grab George Pickens here. That sets us up with a Dak Prescott potential stack. And I like Malik Neighbors even in this format. Or we can get our second running back here with a Josh Jacobs. Actually, let's go heavier wide receiver. Let's go Rashee Rice. So I'm just going to go with 2 studly wide receivers in my second and third pick. A little different. Normally, I would have maybe kind of leaned towards that running back, but you know what? We'll wait and see what happens. So what in 2022, a full series of events had to happen in order for that 0 RB thing to work. And this, I don't, as I have some time, I'm going to explain it. What happened in 2022? First of all, we had a very bad but forced group of running backs in round 1 and 2. I'm talking about names like Austin Eckler, RB4 overall. On a new team, it was terrible, right? We had a lot of guys. We had Christian McCaffrey get hurt. Christian McCaffrey got hurt. There were all kinds of issues at running back early that year that caused a lot of the early running back picks to fail. I think Breece Hall was a first-round pick. on the Jets. Like, it was a whole plethora. But then there was a second thing that happened that year that also caused zero RB to work. And the second thing was there were very few quality quarterbacks in the league in 2022. We had a dearth of talent. And so the secondary thing that happened that year was you really needed like a Lamar or a Josh Allen. You needed a stud quarterback on your team, because after like the top 10 or 12, there were just injuries galore at the quarterback position. And all of these quarterbacks that you had were a disaster. You had Nick Chubb gets hurt. Basically, a lot of the first round and second round running backs just got wiped out by injuries or by just being bad. And then on top of that, the quarterback position got decimated. So the end result was people that favored wide receiver and quarterback early got the run in the playoffs. They were the ones who made the playoffs because those secondary quarterback, they were all terrible. They weren't even getting you 20s. They're getting you 15s, like the guys outside of the top 12. So waiting on quarterback did not work. Waiting early running back didn't work. And it was basically the perfect storm that led to zero RB winning. Now I'm going to tell you where that creator went wrong and why that approach doesn't work and why he lost so much money chasing it. So the problem is, okay, let's say you figured out that zero RB sometimes works. That doesn't mean you should always do zero RB in every single draft. Draft a couple teams that way. If you're going to draft 50 teams, draft 10 or 15 teams that way, but allow for other methods. So when people got on streams and just pushed zero RB, zero RB, zero RB because it worked once that previous year, that was the error. And we're happy that they did it because it caused our competition who are watching those things and listening and thinking, hey, I'm in with the cool kids. They're smart and they're looking at math and sorry, that's the sound I make for like people. They think they're doing something slick, but in the end, all they did was something stupid, which was draft in a way that most of the time you're going to lose all your money. To me, that's stupid. So let's see what we got here. Or wide receiver. Yeah, let's go touchdown scoring wide receiver. With every wide receiver that I'm taking, guys, this is BBM. So I'm thinking about the correlating quarterback that I might need to put a stack together. So now I have an opening for Matthew Stafford here. I've got an opening for Dak Prescott here, and even Mahomes. We've got a super stud running back in Gibbs who will hold the fort down at RB1. And so I don't need to invest as much effort into my running backs here because I know I've got an RB1 that's going to hold down the fort in that position. So I need to hold down RB2 or RB3. Oh, there you go. See, you might be getting a better draft because I couldn't get in on that thing. I got to figure out what's going on with DraftKings. But what I think happened there is just I'm currently live streaming on this computer. And I think like something about that probably caused the location check to give me issues. So again, back to the strategy of zero RB and why, a creator lost all their money in this contest and yet is still out there kind of doing the best ball streets thing and being like, I'm the best at best ball or whatever, is they probably are good at best ball. Maybe. I don't know. But they overdid a strategy. They overdid it where the correct move wasn't to go crazy on a particular strategy, but just to accept, hey, this sometimes works. I'll make a couple of lineups like this, but don't make it your brand. You made it your brand and your brand failed because that approach failed. Now, what's interesting about the best ball streets is it doesn't seem to matter if you're good or bad at this. It's just, hey, if you're doing content, you're an expert. And hey, I fall in that category. Like, why the fuck am I listening to this dickhead, right? You're probably like, somebody might be like, why would I listen to Kevin? What the fuck does he know? Oh, listen, I don't know. You can follow along or not. Been doing this a long time. Won a lot of money in DFS. Won a lot of money in dynasty leagues. If you were in there, I won a lot of money in redraft leagues, and I've been very profitable doing best ball. Now I haven't taken down a BBM. I haven't entered many BBMs, but we did great in the Eliminator last season, and that's the thing we drafted the most of. Somebody here, Thomas, you mentioned weekly winners. I was in the weekly winners. I'm going to talk to you about that. That's a whole show. And it has a very specific, Weekly Winners has its own specific strategy. And so it takes a lot of thought to do the Weekly Winners, but there's a lot of opportunity there as well. I think we had Fling doing Weekly Winners streams for us last year, and we might bring that back. Got to talk to Fling. But there's a specific strategy for Weekly Winners that's also, it's like the opposite. You have to analyze the contest that you're entering. All right, we're about to come up on our picks. I got to do a little bit of looking here. I still need a third kind of decent running back. Wide receiver group, I've got 3. So I'm thinking about quarterbacks connected to these wide receivers. Let me get those guys start off here as well. Dak is one. Look at Dak's ADP. We've got Mahomes. We got Stafford as potential stacks. So we're going to wait a little bit. Running backs, still good ones. You know, there's a whole bunch here that I still like quite a bit. So no worries there. Wide receiver is thinning, but I have 3 of them. So we're kind of okay there. I'm kind of going to star off some guys I like a little bit later, but I think I'm going to address the rest of these wide receivers in a minute. All right, we're on the clock here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take Chuba. And with Chuba, that's pick 72. I'm going to also pay attention to Jonathan Brooks a little bit later in this draft. But I'm probably going to be busy. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. I forgot I'm double tapping. So we got our 4th wide receiver. We've got our 3rd running back. And my quarterbacks are available. Hopefully, maybe some of them. These guys, at least, I don't know if Dak will make it back to me, but certainly Mahomes and Stafford should. I didn't want to early tap Dak 10 picks ahead of his ADP. I'm not on the, Ray, I'm not going to say I'm on the Chuba dark side, but I do like the idea of Chuba and Jonathan Brooks if I can get him, and I think Chuba's going to play. I just like Jonathan Brooks. But like the Chuba dark side for me is this. We don't like Jonathan Brooks because he always gets hurt, and that's why he's been sort of stymied. Well, what if he gets hurt again? And then we get Chuba full blast, right? The same way that people don't want to take Jonathan Brooks because they're like, he gets hurt all the time. Well, if you think he's getting hurt, then you should have some Chuba, right? That's the whole thing. That's why I like it. But so I'm about, listen, Ray Zanny, I'm on the board with whatever dark side you're doing. Ray Zanny, guys, for those who don't know, and he was on the show with me, and he'll be on the show frequently throughout Draftapalooza. My man had like a 60% underdog advance rate last season. Talk about you. So the guys who are on the air talking about this are advancing at like 1%. And Ray Zanny here in the chat, hanging out with me in the stream, he's advancing 60% into the playoffs. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Quentin Johnston, player I really like there, 82. Quentin Johnston is one of those names that I was taking him. Reyes 4 Island, good pick. High five, hipster high five. Hold on. Hipster high five for Reyes 4 Island on the Quentin Johnston pick. Got to give a hipster high five for that one. Love the pick, right? Quentin Johnston going to pop for big games here and there. This guy already has 2 quarterbacks. Yaga Malite. I need to see what the hell. Oh, yeah. All right. He fucked me over on Dak. You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming. You knew it. You knew it was coming. Let's see what's going on here in this draft, as a matter of fact. I got to pay attention to the draft a little more. Yeah. Lamar and Dak Prescott. I don't hate it. It's fine. Again, we're going to spend, I talked about it before, but when you get to this 80s, 90s zone, and 96, 97, when you get to this area, you really have to spend your draft capital on quarterbacks. So this is where the quarterback position starts to go. And yeah, we start to see people jump in ADP here and forcing in some of these other names like Mahomes. That's a massive ADP jump at 88 for Pat Mahomes, right? That's like way early for that player. But hey, you know what? Verl did it. Go for it. Got Ray Zanny kind of constructing a bit of a, just a well-balanced approach here. I like it. Ray, Malik Neighbors at that spot is, hey, man, at 41, I think it's worth it. That's the right spot to get Malik. He absolutely can uplift your team once he gets healthy. So I like that, and we'll see if you get Dart on the way backs. In this 90s, this is where we want to double tap our quarterback position, or at least get one that we're really happy with. There goes Herbert. So we're starting to lose our guys here. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. You may or may not like it, but I feel that I need to double tap quarterback, and I took Dart and Stafford. The reason I took Dart, sorry, Ray, but the reason I took Dart is he's kind of a running quarterback. He actually pairs up just fine with some late round tight ends and wide receivers. But more importantly, because he's a running quarterback, I'm just going to get scoring from him, and it doesn't have to specifically be correlated. Then we got Stafford in there, paired up with Devontae Adams, and now I know I'll be able to grab a couple of tight ends from the I'll be able to grab a couple tight ends from the Rams as well and kind of build a stack around that. You weren't taking Dart. There you go. So good. I'm glad I didn't do it. I didn't do it to you on purpose. My other options at that spot were going to be Jonathan Brooks and Kyle Pitts, but I waited too long at quarterback. Like, had I had that double tap and I had a quarterback already, yeah, I could take Slayton. Also, Darnell Mooney. People forget Darnell Mooney's on the Giants. And Malachi Fields is another name on the Giants in the late rounds. Now, Ray, obviously Kyle Pitts there is a great pick. One of my most owned players this year. So I love Kylie Pitter, as I like to call him. And yeah, he's the man. Ray is 4 Islands, still ignoring tight ends. So a couple other little detailed notes, interesting notes here. One of the thing, yeah, you know it. And plus, this is BBM, baby. One of the things about where was I going with it? Myers, Laporta, and we get our 2 quarterbacks in there. I don't remember where I was going with any of that, so doesn't matter. But yeah, because I waited on, had I taken a quarterback, let me just go back. Actually, I'll show it on screen here. Let's go here. But because I I had a spot here, Hubbard, I probably could have taken, let's say, I could have taken Dak Prescott here, but I would have had to jump an entire round of ADP to get him, right? So I was like, man, I don't like that. I do like Alec Pierce. I like a lot of these other names a little bit. So I had to wait. And then, there's this run on quarterback that happens. And again, this is what I was talking about before. Right around pick 80, you get Caleb, Dak, Trevor Lawrence. This guy jumped Mahomes a little bit. I was sure Mahomes was going to be there for me, which was one of the reasons why I wasn't overly concerned. But there he was gone. And then Herbert goes. It's like, whoa, bro. So I wasn't able to build the stacks I wanted there. But I still got stacked Matthew Stafford, which is fine. We get to round 10, and we start to get the secondary group of running backs. And these are really good running backs. So if I have the double tap and I had waited a little more aggressively at running back, again, right there, I could have grabbed a couple of those quality running back names. There's still some good running backs on the board. I've got 4 running. Let's see where I am. I've got 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers. So I am in a running back grab spot. Got Chris Rodriguez, Jordan Mason, Krosky Merritt, Tyrone. Tyrone is available a little later, so I'm going to take Mason. Now for my second pick, I'm going to force the correlated stack with likely, as opposed to grabbing what I think was the best available tight end, which was Andrews, just because I have Dart. So now I have Dart and likely. Why not? Right? Makes my overall draft feel a little bit better. It's a little more coordinated here. One of the reasons I like taking Dart, Ray-Zani, and why I like the Malik Neighbors pick is the Giants have one of the easiest playoff schedules of any team in the National Football League. They're second easiest. The Colts are up there also with easy playoff schedule. Oh my God, Malik Willis? That early? What are you doing? Wow. All right, let's pay attention to this draft. That's wild. So let's see what people are doing here. Malik Willis ahead of Shook and Mayfield is bananas. That's crazy. I guess it could work. So crazy, it just might work. That's crazy. But yeah, let's see where we're going here. So once we get past the 120s, that pretty much wipes out what I consider to be that second tier of running back, guys who will be getting you points every single week, even as a backup. And I think Chris Rodriguez is the last of them. Krosky, Merritt, Mason. These are Jones, White. These are all Gainwell, who could easily rise up. These are all players that have a great Jonathan Brooks for sure. This is that secondary group of running backs. If I go 0 RB or hero RB, I pretty much want to be grabbing running backs in all three of these rounds. I want like this guy here, KC in the tree, Brooks, White, Krosky, Merritt, Henderson in a 0 RB. That's a good way to do it. So this is a good build, right? Waits on RB and then grabs 5 within the next. So you got 4 stud wide receivers, and then he gets literally 5 stud running backs mixed in with a couple of actual really good quarterbacks. So this is a really strong start for the BBM for this guy. Casey in the tree. This is a solid way. If you're going to do kind of 0 RB, this is how you want to do it. Will it work? Yo, I don't know. Check out the hook and I'll blow. No, that didn't work. Sorry. But yeah, I like what Casey in the tree, or whoever this guy is, I like what he's doing here. Right? We got Ray Zanny, one of the best drafters in the business. JSN, Brown, Kyron, and then a whole bunch of wide receivers. And then again, beef up that running back room a little bit later here with Dowdle and Harvey, both guys who are scoring every single week. So more talent there. Ooh, okay. Give me one of my favorite wide receivers this year. I'll take him. Daniel Jones. Still have some running quarterbacks left. We're in the backup zone here, and tight end. I'm a little... Oh, Chigokonkwo. I do not like Juwan Jennings this year, but who cares what I like and what I don't like, right? Who cares? Got Chig. So Rachaad White. I think Rachaad White's a good pick. I don't have a problem. I think Rachaad White could easily... I think Rachaad White's a very good pick. He's rising up in ADP. I don't know who the... Oh, is that... Wait, is that... Who's on ETR? I don't know who their best ball guy is, but like, yeah, I like Rachaad White. Absolutely. Rachaad White is going to have the more valuable role at running back for the Commanders. Like, his role will be more valuable, I think, than Bill Krosky Merritt. So, yeah, I like the Rachaad White. I don't know about 70%, because again, for me, a lot of times when Rachaad White's available, that's when I'm grabbing those quarterbacks. Rachaad White goes like right there at around pick 100, and that's like QB2 zone most of the time. Start to pay attention to how this draft is going. I like kind of watching along. So we got Ray, who went pretty much 0 QB, Ray Zanny, with Darnold, Bryce Young, and I'm sure, Ray, you're going to try to beef that up with a third quarterback here real soon. Darnold, Young, not going to be consistent. But, you built up a really strong rest of the team by waiting at quarterback. And we did find in our research that the main thing that helps you advance in the playoffs has been these later round quarterback. Last year, it was Trevor Lawrence. But, it could be Tyler Shook. Who knows? It could be Bryce Young. Yeah. JSU. I don't know who that is, but like I said, I'm not against it. I think it's a good idea. Like for me, if you wanted to put what's Geek's brand this year, it's got to be Kyle Pitts. I have him in like 90% of my entries. I got a ton of Jonathan Brooks. So, I don't know if I'd make my brand Rachaad White this year and like but I do like Rachaad White. And I think he's a good pick in that zone. I keep winding up with Mason, but, come to think of it, I need to switch that up. Mason I like because I think the opportunity is there, but Rachaad White's going to have a lot of opportunity too. Again, Rachaad White's been a starter, and the more valuable position on the Commanders is the pass catching back, right? That's done better, and that's scored more, and the whole thing. So I think that's totally fine. Yeah, Darnell the Gazelle, yeah, he has moved up a little bit much. So I've got these going by my rank. I'm going to sort by ADP. I've got my rankings on the left here, guys, and ADP on the right. So I'm going to sort by my ranks. Yeah, Jaron Naylor, next man up, but I don't really need a wide receiver. I think I'm going to go Brissett and get my third quarterback in there. Let's see here. And I don't have a correlated QB3, but it doesn't really matter. So we'll get another tight end in here. I'm just going to take the next man up on my rankings so I don't mess up my stuff. Another thing that I've found, guys, is you really want 3 tight ends on your team. You absolutely want that third tight end. Let's see here. Mr. Fish, Scott Fish, pulled off a 2-4-10-2 with a Cooper Kupp kicker. So you're playing for second. I don't even know what any of this means, right? Like, I'm assuming that means 2 quarterback, 4 running back, 10 wide receiver, and 2 tight ends. You need to have, you don't need 10 wide receivers. You need an extra tight end in that build. A 5-5-5. Are you the person on DraftKings, S-Fish, U4X, that like, I'm in a draft and like, well, who's this asshole who's taking 5 quarterbacks? And it's you fucking up the draft. Can only have 1 scoring for you. Yeah, I think this is fair also. White definitely like him more on DraftKings. Like, S-Fish here is that guy in the draft. You got to get in a draft with me. If you get in a live draft with me, S-Fish, I'm here live Wednesday and Friday at noon drafting teams. I want you in there. I'll break down your draft right on the screen and we'll have some fun. Don't be sensitive about it though. Don't be sensitive. And remember that I don't know what, what the fuck does Kevin know? What does a geek know? I don't know shit. I do know, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if your team's going to win or not. But I would love to, I love to live critique it. If you're going to do some crazy 5 quarterback thing, I will be ripping on that. But don't be sensitive, please. This is or if you are sensitive, let me know. And sometimes I once critiqued a draft guy who lost their mind. He went crazy. Start showing up in front of my house over here, fucking protesting and shit. Like, what, bro? Let's not go from the stream to real life, okay? Take it easy. I was just messing around with your draft. Don't take it too serious. But like I said, yeah, get in one of these drafts with us, S-Fish. We'll have some fun with this drafting style. You're a wild man. 10 wide receivers is a wild man. I could see doing it on DraftKings, though. You can win. You can win. That is the thing that I don't want you to think. You absolutely can win. One of the great things about best ball and what differentiates this from not best ball, right? One of the great differentiators is you can win. The quote unquote pros do not have any sort of a major edge here. The quote unquote pros do not have anything on you. They can't automate this process, really. They have to play just like you. They got to play it slow, just like you. They don't have a big edge. So, because you have to handcraft every single lineup in best ball, or else it's not going to be good. Fish, Ray Zanny is here in the chat with us, has won 200K playing best ball, has put tons of lineups in the playoffs, and regular dude. And that is the beauty of this. The pro guy that's out there giving out advice, all of Twitter is a flutter with his 1% bottom 1% drafter ranking, meaning fuck the pros, fuck anybody. They don't know shit. Do your drafts. This is the most great equalizer, best ball. It is the great equalizer. Injuries happen, all kinds of shit happens, and you never know. You never know. I think you got a better chance, especially in the eliminator. These are tough. Do the eliminator as well when you want to do it. Get in a contest that's so winnable that the field is doing the wrong thing on, and give yourself a shot. I think you got a better shot at winning this. Now, of course, if you're a DFS Army subscriber, you've got a great shot at winning DFS tournaments as well in season. But, that increases your odds massively. But for BBM especially, they don't have anything on you. No one's got anything on you. You can draft against these guys, play it serious, and try to take some tournaments down. Absolutely. No question. You can do it. So where were we? All right, let's go back to the big board here. We're in the final round. Oh boy. See, I didn't even realize we got to the last round and I'm picking last. Okay, let me start to think about what my last pick needs to be. I've got three quarterback, 5 running back, 6 wide receiver, 3 tight end. So I'm looking at wide receivers. Let me go by my rankings. I need to update these rankings again. I've moved some new players up the list here. I got to do an update. I'm looking at tight end. I do like having a 4th tight end. I do not mind it. Actually, I prefer it. So if I can get that 4th tight end in there, that's great. If there's a starting quarterback still floating around here, that has to be a strong target as well, right? If they're going to leave like an Aaron Rodgers, I might just do that, right? Let's pay attention to Aaron Rodgers. Not that this would be the first share of Aaron Rodgers that I ever drafted in years, but like if you're going to give me a starting quarterback with my last pick, I don't mind it. Kalen Black is a guy who I kind of like as a potential replacement for Christian McCaffrey, although not like not a clean handicap or not a clean handcuff, but it's something. And then I added in Christian Kirk there and Colby Parkinson. Yeah, my other guy just went. So I wanted Turd Ferguson. He's gone. Desmond Claiborne, I really like that pick as well late. I want to talk about that pick a little bit. But who do we have left? I think I'm going to go. You know what? I'm just going to take a 4th quarterback. It's a little weird, but you know what? Nah, fuck that. Let's go with a 4th tight end here. So at least I can say I correlated on the tight end. How about I'm not doing that Ben Sinnott thing. If that works, that's going to Thomas Burchell, that should be your play. I want you to hold on. Dude, if I could get onto DraftKings right now, I would do another draft. Like I have some energy, but I don't know why it's giving me a hard time. View your current restrictions. No, none of this is real. I'm trying to see if I can get onto DraftKings again. No, I'm getting that location checker. All right, that's a problem. You want to do another underdog, guys? I'll stick around for another one. Let's go long. What I wish I had open was I had my my overlay open so I could put the overlay on there, but my computer's overwhelmed and I had to restart it and I don't have my overlay open. I'm not going to do BBM for the next one. So let me do a quick, let's do a quick overview of this draft. I'll do another one. I'll do a puppy though in a minute. Cause I want, yeah. S Fish is in here. So let's go stay in here. We'll broadcast that one, but I'll just go through my draft here real quick and I'll do yours, Ray, since you're in the chat with us. But I started with Jahmyr Gibbs. We got Pickens, Rice, Devontae. So we're set up with Dak, Mahomes, Stafford. Fill in the running backs with Montgomery and Chuba. Touchdown scoring guys, perfect for this format. And here's where kind of things got a little weird. I take Alec Pierce, who I very much like, as my WR4, but that's a luxury wide receiver, right? And then in the mix here, Dak goes, Mahomes goes, and Herbert goes. So all the Dak and Mahomes go, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck, right? So I end up taking Dart and Stafford instead. So my build around is going to be Stafford and Dart. I've already got Stafford going with Adams. Dart didn't have any combinations. So later on, I pair up Dart with Likely and Darnell Mooney, right? With Stafford, I was able to add Colby Parkinson as well. So I was hoping for Turd Ferguson, but I got Colby Parkinson instead. And then from there, we filled it out with a fourth running back in Mason, and I got a fifth one here in Braylon Allen, who is just as good of a handcuff as any other handcuff. If what's his name? If our guy Breece Hall gets hurt, Braylon Allen will take over and be the starter. We got Darnell Mooney in there with Stafford, and I added Jacoby Brissett as a third quarterback. So solid team, 4 tight ends, 3 quarterbacks. Ray Zanny, superstar drafter, gets my guy Kyle Pitts. Oh, similar. 4 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends. We kind of flipped it, but the rest of it's the same. 5 running backs, a little bit of quite a bit of kind of firepower spent on running back, but you get a little bit better wide receiver grouping here by taking Dowdle and Harvey. So you end up with a couple of kind of studs or a luxury pick in Malik Neighbors. Downside of this draft is probably a little sketchy at quarterback, but I mean, you did what you had to do, which was get a whole bunch of them in order to make up for the fact that the ones that you have here are a little sketch. So good draft, everybody. Let's go back to we'll go back. Let's see. We'll try to grab one more. I'm feeling energetic today. So NFL looks like, wait, what's going on? All right. We got the Pitbull. Cannot fill it. Can't do a live. $1,000 entry Mastiff. I don't even have that kind of cash in my account right now. I'm definitely not doing Scott Fish, who's in here with us. Oh, how about a poodle? You know what? How about a poodle, guys? The puppy's closed. Let's do a poodle. S. Fish, are you the actual Scott Fish? I feel like no. All right. Poodle. 22nd. Who's in? We're doing it. 3, 2, 1. Enter. Confirm. Bam. All right. We are in the poodle. This does not look like a fast fill contest, so this might not work out. Let's see. It's kind of filling up. I hope it could be a lot of you guys. Oh, yeah, it's filling. All right, there we go. The poodle. We got a little poodle. A little poodle going. We're filling. We're waiting. 3 more spots. So, again, just to talk back to the whole thing from before, your spearfish. Oh, are you a spear fisherman? S-fish. Have you spear fished before? Curious. I was watching Bazinga's in there. That's what's up. What's up, Bazinga? So, spearfish man. I was watching an episode of Outlast, or there's a new show on Netflix about people kind of in like the wilderness having to I feel like everybody in here is in this contest with us right now. Let's see who's in here. But anyway, this dude is on the show, and it's like a survivor list out. It's called Outlast or something on Netflix. And they have to live in the woods and kind of survive. This one dude's like, I'm a spear fisherman. I spearfish, twice a week, just in my personal time. And it's what I love doing. And I'm the best fucking guy in the world, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes out to spearfish. He didn't catch shit. And I'm like, bro, you spearfish for fun? And now you're in a place where you need to survive. You can't fucking catch a fish on a spear. What the hell, bro? Lots of fish there. Couldn't get one. All right, here we go. So let's take a look at who's in this. T. Burchell. That's familiar. He's probably in here. UFC Jaguar or UCF Jaguar. I know you. You're in here. We got Razor in this draft with us. Jesus. Chief ST, that's me. We got Slushy and Spearfit. This is a DFS Army special. What's up? What's up, everyone? So Bazinga's at the 2. Unfamiliar name. Welcome to the stream, Bazinga. UCF Jaguar. Fuck yeah, it's best ball season. Where you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? That's from Harry Potter. Where have you been? Yes, we are doing best ball season. Draftapalooza. Yeah, it's beautiful weather outside. The pool is warmed up. But here we are. We're drafting fucking teams, best ball teams. We're putting in the work in the summertime that's going to pay off all season long. going to have teams to watch. You know, when you enter a $5 DFS contest, the life of that contest exists for that day. And that's it. The enjoyment you get out of a best ball entry could last all season long. And the excitement, I think, of playing a lot of best ball teams, making the playoffs, making some money, having some fun, the eliminator, watching your teams advance, that's worth the price of admission. And I think we're going to make our money back. So I don't advocate for degeneracy here. I advocate for having fun, getting full value out of our dollar, not just in the entry fee and the fun of drafting, but also, very, very important, the potential of winnings and all that goes along with how much enjoyment I actually get. Spearfish going Bowers early. How much enjoyment I actually get out of my draft. I could have gone with Justin Jefferson there. I really haven't picked Justin Jefferson this year. I don't have any exposure to him. He's one of my fades, but like pick 2, 3, that's not a bad spot to get him. Especially in one of these type of contests, you know, the GPP upside contest. We don't want to draft these like an eliminator. We want to draft these for upside. Yeah. I think Jefferson's falling for good reason. So I'm not against the fall. I think he's falling for good reason. I don't know that Kyler Murray is that good. And, I don't know. I'm not as high on Kyler Murray. I think the best ball bros are going to be higher on a Kyler Murray type than what I am. Like, I'm not that high on him, but I know that the bros are. So, okay. Let's see what happens. Why don't I like Kyler Murray that much? I thought he sucked in Arizona. I didn't think he was good. They might be like, no, it was great. All right. Well, I didn't think he was very good. Can't see over the offensive lineman's head. Has a hard time throwing for touchdowns. Can only really throw for touchdowns when they roll him out. And I didn't like how infrequently Kyler Murray ran the football. I didn't like it. Why aren't you running more? If you're going to be a short, fast quarterback, tuck and run, brother. Give me some fantasy points. You know when Trevor Lawrence started to be good? Guys, pay attention. You know when Trevor Lawrence started to be good at fantasy and when his team started winning games? It happened when he started running the football. My boy Trevor Lawrence is running for touchdowns. That's why he got better. Kyler Murray's not running for touchdown. Maybe he'll start again, but he wasn't. I don't like it. That's why I don't have Kyler Murray. That's why I'm not been a big fan of his. Here we go, Ray. Taking another stud tight end there. Trey McBride, early tight end. I'm a little surprised to see you doing it. But you know what? I've seen it a couple times here, so I'm going to take note. UCF, Zay Flowers setting up a Lamar Jackson stack right there. Lumberg with Devontae Smith, one of my favorites to take here. Sets up a Hurts stack. We got Breece Hall, and now you left me with a couple of choices here. I'm going to go McConkey. Going to set up my Justin Herbert stack. Still plenty of good running backs available. In this format, it's probably not the best idea to wait super long or to take too many running backs early, like to wait super long at wide receiver. You need those studs to help you power you through the playoff weeks. I'm about to come back up on the clock. So Tetaroa for Slushy sets up a stack with Bryce Young, easy to make. Igbuka also opens up another easy stack with Baker Mayfield. That's an easy one to get to. If I got T. Higgins on my team like Spearfish, I'm thinking about Joe Burrow. I'm thinking about all these other names. Leave me Josh Jacobs. I like the Scattaboo pick, but I'm just going to take the safer running back in Josh Jacobs here. Pick 39. Love the value on Josh Jacobs right there in terms of what I got. So my start, we got 3 running backs already. Robust RB, as I always are. Kevin's talking robust. I always do robust RB. I tend to have at least 2 running backs by the end of my first 5 picks. And generally, I'm going to have 3 running backs by the end of the first 6 or 7 picks. Yeah, Ray Zanny. I think you're right on McBride. I think it's going to be good. The only downside I see to taking any kind of tight end early is just like you could just get a whole bunch of them late. You just get a bunch of tight ends late. I think it works out. And what you'll need if you took Bowers or McBride or Colston early, when you do that, what you need in order to advance is for those guys to specifically have big weeks during the playoffs. You need that big week. Yeah, I mean, that's a good value on Josh Allen, who normally goes around 3. Ray Zanny, you probably weren't even thinking about Josh Allen. You're like, motherfucker, you're going to give him to me here? I'm going to take him. So he just dropped well past where he normally goes, and I think that's great. It's a good pick. Mac O'Malley already with 3 running backs. I don't know that Mac O'Malley is in the chat with us. I believe Dana P. Fon is in here. So you got Bijan, Jolo, and then Malik Neighbors. Love it. Mac O'Malley is going super robust RB here with 4 running backs in the first 4 picks. I don't mind it. And then Lamar going with a luxury quarterback as well. So we'll see how that goes. But that's an interesting way to try to draft. Again, we'll see how that works out. 4. That's a lot of running back power early. Colston Loveland to T. Burchell. I like that. And now kind of, now you want to start starring off the quarterbacks that go with your guys. You want to start paying attention to Caleb, Drake May, and Burrow. T. Burchell, I'm going to be curious to see which quarterback you end up going with. We got DK Republic, 4 wide receivers in the first 4 picks. I like that too. Going full kind of 0 RB for DK Republic. Ray Zanny kind of in the middle here with a luxury tight end and a luxury quarterback in the first 5 picks. Dangerous, but let's see how it all comes together. All right, we're about to be up, and let's see what we got. Again, Josh Jacobs on my team, Ladd McConkey. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Odunze here. We'll open up. We're going to open up. I'm going to start starring off quarterbacks that are tied to players that I have on my team. McConkey is with Herbert. So we're going to star those guys off a little bit, just so I'm aware of what players I have. Yeah. This one's going weird, but it's like we're in a draft here with all people in the draft, which is fun. Slushy takes my boy, Christian Watson. Spearfish gets Joe Burrow. I'm coming up on another pick here. I want to see what's available at running back, wide receiver. I've got 2 wide receivers, so I do want to get some more wide receiver talent in the, on board here. I'm going to go Carnell the Gazelle. Carnell, take the rookie. Also opens up another stack path here very late with Cam Ward. So I'm just like, all right, these are guys that are kind of connected to players that I've got already. My 3 pass catchers are connected here. And it's like a little reminder when I see other players from those teams, if I want to build a bigger stack, that's how I got to do it. We'll start to pay attention to running backs as well. If I take a quarterback earlier, remember there's that running back zone that's going to come up later between the quarterback / running back zone that comes up later. Let's see what Spearfish is up to. Spearfish, wild man, 1 quarterback already, Burrow, stacked with T. Higgins. Got Brock Bowers as standalone and Janty, so we're going Raiders. Might want to grab a Raiders quarterback later. Scattaboo, love him. And RJ Harvey scored some touchdowns last year. Holding it down. Slushy on the edge here. 4 wide receivers in a row to go with Walker and Barkley. Solid, right? You got a lot of pathways for stacks. You need to start thinking about your quarterbacks here in the next round. This is it. These are the quarterback rounds. We're going to be in the 70s. We're going to get to the 80s and 90s. I'll be at like 82 and 87. That is where I'm probably going to take at least 1 quarterback coming up. And I wouldn't mind another running back as well. So I know that's what starts to go there. Let's see. Anybody else who's in here? I don't remember. Brad Y. Is that a person in the draft with us? Not sure. Lindbergh, not sure. We got UCF Jaguar in the chat with us here. Taylor, Brown, couple of running backs. Then we go heavy 4 wide receivers in a row. I don't mind it here. Again, don't mind it. Chuba Hubbard goes to Ray. I knew you were taking him. Get that second running back. Chuba should be fine. We'll see if you choose to back him up with Jonathan Brooks or not. Ramondre Stevenson goes to UCF. I can't go through everything because my pick is about to come back up and I need to pay attention. A lot of my players have gone. So I was trying to watch a lot of these quarterbacks that are connected to my guys here. Herbert and my other guy, I guess Caleb is gone. I was going to pay attention to Caleb. I'm going to take Justin Herbert here. Now, I do have Trevor Lawrence ranked ahead of Justin Herbert, but I don't have any players connected to T-Law. So it doesn't really help me to grab him there. So we got our first quarterback with Herbert, and that's our build-around guy. Now that I have Herbert on my team, I kind of want to look for Quentin Johnston and see where he's at, if he's still available. Somebody took Quentin Johnston. Oh, Lumberg jumped. Oh, all right. Well, that's not good. There goes Brooks way early. Slushy DFS, you literally just jumped ADP on Jonathan Brooks by about 10 spots, 10, 15 spots. That's fine. You know, get your guy. But it's kind of annoying for me who wanted to try to grab him on the back end. Isn't it funny that on this draft, Dak lasts past all these other guys, and on the last one, it wasn't like that. This is really bizarre, but I think I'm going to take a second quarterback in Jackson Dart here. So again, I told you guys this before. In this 80s zone, this is a great spot to get your quarterbacks. It's where the good ones seem to go. And if you wait, you end up with kind of like a secondary group of quarterbacks that aren't as good. So double tap QB for me, crazy. Spearfish, you might have put too much into your quarterback position, but maybe not. You know, with Burrow, I don't know. 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, two wide receiver, 1 tight end already for Spearfish. Slushy got Jonathan Brooks there. Yeah, I think that was probably the right move. You needed a good one, and I don't even mind jumping ADP a little bit there for Jay Brooks. Dowdle is, I mean, Ray's getting it done here. Rico Dowdle. So this is also that zone that I told you guys about. Quarterbacks and the last of the sort of useful running backs tend to go in that 85 to 110 range. And then we start to get into backup running backs, but there are still starting tight ends available. There are still solid wide receivers available, which is kind of why my drafts tend to go that way. Like I just tend to get my quarterbacks taken care of in this 80 to 100, try to get that RB4 in place, and then we load up on tight ends and wide receivers later. Yeah, Michael Wilson dropping an ADP, man. Wow, look at that. We're at pick 100 almost. Michael Wilson still available. We've got Jaden Reed still available. Josh Downs, a lot of really good wide receivers still on the board here. Really good ones. T. Burchell, at this point, if you're grabbing these guys, you need to just be thinking about, all right, who correlates with other things that I've got going on so I could build a stack around them because they're all good. Like if I had, you know, Marvin Harrison Jr., I might just grab Michael Wilson and then try to complete that stack. There's Ray, of course, preventing me from ever getting Kyle Pitts in these in these streams, which is fine. We'll go a different way. But I get it. So I'm probably going to have to go. Let's look at Kenny Gainwell here. Let's go by ADP. So J.K. Dobbins available, Kenny Gainwell, Rachaad White. And I can take any one of these guys and feel pretty good about my next pick. Gainwell or White. Hey, we were talking about Rachaad White being this guy that all right, let's get a share of Rachaad White. Let's make that my 4th guy, right? I don't have a tight end yet, but I don't mind it. We still have some really good wide receiver talent available here, and tight ends are also pretty solid that are still floating around. So fine by me. So if you don't have your second quarterback, it starts to look dim from here for a second guy. Stafford's still good. Murray shook. And then you kind of get to that next level of guys that aren't that good for your second guy. So you got to be careful. A fun draft against the stream here. Let's go. Let's go. A lot of guys who I have ranked higher than where they are right now are still available. Yeah, see, I already know it. It's gonna fuck up my pits. I was gonna show a screenshot of my pits exposure, and it was gonna be like 90%. But these drafts are messing it up. They're messing it up. But I like it. I love it. Love it. But it's messing it up. Michael Wilson at this point at pick 111. Come on, it's too. That's just a value. That's just a crazy good value. I'm just taking it. I didn't even need a wide receiver there. I just had to do it. Got my fourth wide receiver, 2 quarterbacks, no tight ends. We need to beef up the tight end room in the next round. Just start starring off tight ends. Let's see where everybody's at. I am 16 picks away. So again, Slushy on the end. Got those extra running backs, Brooks and Gainwell. I like them. Okay, that's strong. Quarterback, Jolo, combined with Matthew Golden now and Christian Watson. This is a very strong build. Nicely done. Spearfish, Janty, Scadaboo, Harvey, Krosky, solid. Get the stud tight end in there. Now you got a backup with Fannin, maybe too soon on the backup. You forgot about wide receiver, Spearfish. But everything else looks really strong. I've got a balanced build, no tight ends. But again, my research has found that people who draft tight ends, the later you draft them, the more you have a chance, the more you rise up. Bazinga, remind me, are you Dana PA Fawn? Is that you? So I can look at it. Dana PA Fawn? Baker Mayfield. Yeah, that was an early pick. That was a little too soon on Baker. Why would you take Baker Mayfield? Why would you take Baker Mayfield that soon? Baker Mayfield's ADP is like 125. Oh, you just had a mental breakdown. See? That's what happens, bro. S Fish, you've got a new fan here in Ray Zanny, and that is a really big endorsement. So, yeah. Okay. I'm at pick 130. I've got to take Isaiah Likely here, get the pairing up with Jackson Dart, and I lack tight ends, so I needed to do it. I've got another pick coming up. Again, 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 4 wide receivers. There's still plenty of good wide receivers on the board. Starters, good players, a couple of them left. Running back group, we're in the backup zone. Tight ends, still got lots of solid starters floating around. And at quarterback, we still have a decent group for the next round. I think they'll last a little bit, although their ADPs are really coming up soon. Tight end ADPs, all kind of coming up soon as well. Let's see what goes on there. And running backs, we are now, again, outside of the zone that I like. Starters, I love this. I love the Hunter pick, Spearfish. It's like you've been watching our streams. Travis Hunter is another one of those names that I have in most of my lineups. Yeah, that happens, brother. Trust me. We all get sniped. And it happens all the time. Just be careful with the queue, because you put players in the queue that are like way a ways away from where this pick is. First of all, set up your queue in the right order by ADP. Like that should be set up by ADP to make sure that if they're in your queue, that you're not going to do. Nathan Kohler, I tried. Welcome to the stream. For some reason, I've not been able to load DraftKings on my computer during this stream. And since I don't have my phone on me, I wasn't able to get in one. So next time on Friday, we'll do some DraftKings ones. I tried to do DraftKings here. We just tried, but I'm having a weird location issue. I'm just not able to log on to DraftKings while streaming right now. So I wasn't able to do it. Real quick on my lineup here, I like my running back group: Cook, Hampton, Jacobs, Rachaad White. Fine by me. 2 solid quarterbacks, Herbert and Dart. Okay. Wide receiver room looks pretty good to me too. I'm loving this draft. Like This I would do this in an eliminator. This is like a good all-purpose, healthy draft. Yeah, Nate, I tried a couple times, man. It just didn't work out. And we're 2 hour 14. This is definitely going to be the last draft that I'm doing for this one. But this is a great one. Super fun draft because like most of the draft is in the stream right now. So we are in stream together, drafting against our fellow DFS Army stream mates. Guys, remember, if you're watching this right now and you just happen to cross the stream and you're like, hey, I want to see what else this guy has. I put out, these 10, 15-minute short form videos, rankings, strategy, everything that you need. Also DFS stuff right here in DFS Army YouTube channel. So if you are so inclined, make sure to be subscribed here to the YouTube channel so that this stuff has a better chance of popping up on your screen whenever we go live. I'm going to sort by my rankings here. And I think we just start to sort of get good players that fit the rankings. Jaron Naylor, for me, is someone that I really like at 150 since I had him ranked about 130. And he's, I don't know, the WR1 for the Raiders. All right. Fine by me. We got our 5th wide receiver. I like to get to 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, and then 6 or 7 wide receivers in this format and 4 or 5 running backs. That's kind of how I tend to try to set up my stuff. And again, we're beyond the level of ADP, and now I'm sorting by my rankings so that the players, the next men up, are kind of like guys who I've already predetermined were good for those spots. Slushy gets Kenyon Sadiq. What if Kenyon Sadiq is the next tight end stud? Could happen. Absolutely could happen. Spearfish with Tajay Spears, of course, staying on brand. The Spearfish got to take the spear. I mean, that's just on brand, bro. That's just like, of course you did that. Slushy, yeah, a little early on Geno, but not too early. I think it's fine. Mendoza, a ballsy pick for I guess, but since you already have 2, no big deal. Oh, wait, I'm on the clock. Brisket, let's go. Risk it for the brisket. 3rd QB obtained. Now, do you guys think in the chat that Jacoby Brissett will be the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals this year? I think yes. I got him paired up now with Michael Wilson. Fine by me. 3 quarterbacks on board, 4 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. So our next picks are going to be, we're going to pay attention to some tight ends. Any one of these names is fine for me. Running back group. This is where when you take a guy, you're pretty much taking someone that's a backup that's probably not going to give you any points most weeks. Nothing super exciting there. And there's really only 1 or 2 kind of lock button starting quarterbacks left, like Aaron Rodgers, the grossest of all starting quarterbacks. Got Cooper Kupp in the queue. Cooper Kupp is definitely wouldn't be sniping him here. I'd wait. Stribling. We are drafting in, what was this one called? The Bulldog? We're in the Bulldog? What is this called? $7 contest. There goes Zachariah Branch. So again, guys, we're seeing Branch. Mac O'Malley, I don't know if he's in here or not, but we're seeing Branch all the way up to 170 in ADP, which is wild. Just looking at my ranking sheet here. Where do I have Branch? I'm afraid to look this long. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to forget where we're at. Yeah, I have him ranked 171. So there we go. I've got him at overall rank 171. So, yeah, pretty much in agreement. Where was I? I'm at 171 with Branch. Yeah, there he is. All right, we're almost coming back up on our next pick. I got Dart again. I think we got to take AJ Barner here. Get that third tight end in place. AJ Barner was fine, had a couple big games last year. Fine by me. Again, now I want to look at running backs. Mike Washington. It's a lot of garbage right now, sort of late round kind of trash. Is there another quarterback? No, right? I've got three running backs. So from here, I've got Dart, Herbert, and Brissett. So I'm also looking for players that might overlap with those guys. I'm super down on. Oh, Tank Dell, slushy. I was not saying anything. I wanted him. You did it. You did me. Did me dirty. What's up, Araby? Yeah, I like Gunnar. I don't know if I'm bullish on Gunnar, but you know what? I don't mind him. I'm bullish on Adonai Mitchell. There we go. You don't like the jizz in my pants thing? I got to introduce you guys to Lonely Island. I don't know if like go watch the full form Lonely Island video about that, and you tell me it doesn't crack you up. I literally crack up every time I watch that video. I share things with you guys that like I find personally just hilarious, and jizz in my pants is one of them. But I like all the things from that Lonely Island group, so go check them out if you want. Check out the full length song, and then you tell me if you don't love it. I think you will love it. But I do apologize for the loudness of that, of my little multimedia things when I put those on. Some people tell me like I'm watching your stream and I'm in my office and all of a sudden it's screaming jizz in my pants, like, and everybody's like, what the fuck? Yeah, I don't mind it. Adonai Mitchell, fine by me. I like him. I like Tank Dell in these last picks. I like them all. I think they're all really good plays. Again, I'm just looking at like the makeup of my team: 3 quarterbacks, 3 tight ends, 4 running backs, and 6 wide receivers. So I can go any way I want here with the last couple of picks. I don't even mind. I've told you, I do not mind having a 4th tight end on a team, although I probably want to take that with the last overall pick in my draft. But I don't mind it. I like players that correlate with Dart. So I got Fields, and I can put Darius Slayton on that list. I'm not really sure which of these guys go on. Yeah, I'll try to go through them all. I'll do your team breakdown, S-Fish, but I expect you back here for a lot of our drafts this year. Hopefully you're having fun, hanging out, chilling with the crew, and we do them live Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. You want to be here. You want to be here hanging out, drafting all summer long. Then you could be like at the end of the year, you'd be like, I drafted with those fuckers and I beat them. Good stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's have some fun. Let's all kick some ass. I will actively root for you guys to do well in these contests. I want to do well myself first and foremost. I'm number one, right? Like, I'm here to make money for my personal account. But when we're streaming, we also know that like you're kind of giving up a little bit of your edge when you're live streaming something, and you're kind of telling everybody in the stream or giving them an idea of your strategy and what to do. It depends on the people, though. Nick, this person has 1 quarterback. I think that's bananas. I think that's not good at all. So I'm going to take Darnell the Gazelle, pair him up with Jackson Dart. So I have a little more strength to that stack. Yeah, these are absolutely a lot of tickets. And by the way, in this contest, like, I'll be much more brutal in an eliminator because I believe the eliminator contest has a very specific approach that you need to do in order to give yourself a shot. Like the dude who didn't take another second quarterback, locked button will not advance. You guaranteed that you cannot win it. So what the fuck are you doing? Why would you enter a contest and then do something that guarantees you won't win? So I'm not down with that. I'm not down with that at all. I'll make fun of it in the breakdown. But with that being said, like, you know, in these contests, there's virtually no wrong way that you can draft. You do whatever you want. Like, there's a million there's a million things, a lot of different ways that these drafts can go down, and it's all good. So I don't have any special like, oh, you did something bad. Nah, you did fine. Like, whatever. I have a lot of Kalon Black, so I'm just going to double down on Fields and just kind of go. I'm going to go heavy Giants here and see if I can accidentally catch the winning stack of the Giants with that share of Jackson Dart that I have. So let's go through it, guys. I'm going to start right to left. If you want me to break down your draft, I'm going to take a look, right? I don't think you're so bad, Super Spearfish, but let's start with Slushy, and I'll go into yours. I don't think having just 2 tight ends is that bad when they're Brock Bowers and Fannin. Like, you spent a lot of ADP on your tight end position, so I don't mind. You don't need a lot of tight ends when you're doing that. But yes, a Brock hammy, you lose. You know what? Think of it like this. If anybody I took in the first 3 rounds gets a hammy, I lose also. You're not going to win these if your early picks get hurt. You simply won't win. It does not matter. Throw it away. You will not win. So you don't have to worry about it. Draft as if your players are going to be healthy the whole season in this contest. Just that is just general advice. Draft as if your players are going to be healthy because you're not winning anyway. If your second round pick gets hurt, doesn't matter what the fuck you did. You're still not winning. Even if you took all these extra tight ends, you're still not winning. Why? Because you're going up against a dude who took Omarion Hampton there, or Achane, or Brown, or Derrick Henry. They're like, the guy that was in your spot that you're going up against didn't take Bowers. He's going to beat you when your guy gets hurt. So it doesn't matter. Draft as if your players are staying healthy. Now, Slushy, let's start with you. 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, lots of wide receivers, 3 tight ends. Thomas went, yeah, we'll talk about all good, man. I'm not going to be super brutal here. This is the puppy. This is a different style, and anything goes. But Slushy, start off with a double tap of solid running backs, 4-pack of wide receivers, Tetaroa, Egbuka, Watson, and Brian Thomas. These are all actually kind of sketchy wide receivers for a lot of different reasons. Brian Thomas, tough season last year. Will he bounce back? Tetaroa, kind of tied to a crappy quarterback. And Emeka Egbuka, everybody loves him. But, will the Tampa players be better this year? You got to hope for it all. Jolo, first QB off the board, paired up with Christian Watson. That's cool. Get Golden in there as well. Could have, if you had Tucker Kraft, I'd be cool with that. Love Jonathan Brooks and Kenny Gainwell as your 3rd and 4th running backs. Both of these guys, Gainwell and Brooks. I think this was a jump of ADP on Gainwell a little bit, but he wasn't going to be there on your next pick. So you had to do it, and I'm fine with that. As a matter of fact, the Jolo is also, I think, where this draft I might have waited. I think you could have waited an entire round and gotten Jordan Love here. So if I had to say one thing, Slushy, it was, yeah, I love that you took Jordan Love, but I think you could have literally gotten him a full, round and a half later. Underdog is most definitely half-point PPR, yes. So that's my only critique here, but I love that he's very stacked. But that second quarterback, Geno, so I think the quarterback position might be the downfall here. So that's what I'd be watching out for. Spearfish, let's see. Spearfish, creative drafter. Janty and Scatabo paired up with Bowers, Higgins, and Joe Burrow. So we got Joe Burrow. Again, if I'm taking Joe Burrow and I could have this draft back, I really like pairing up Joe Burrow with Higgins and Chase Brown. Chase Brown will have a great year if Burrow's healthy, and he will be garbage. So they are a little bit tied together, but hey, this goes kind of stud early tight end. Janty and Bowers will probably not be paired up. What's cool about the start for Slushy is I don't think Janty and Bowers that anybody's going to have that. That's going to be a very, very unique 1-2 punch combination. And there is value in just having a unique 1-2 punch in those first 2 rounds. You will be very unique. No one's going to have Janty and Bowers together, right? For multiple reasons, including that they might eat from one another. They might eat from one another. And Mendoza. Yeah. So I think it's a fun way to go. And it's unique. No one's going to have that combo. And uniqueness in this contest might be the single most important thing. We got Joe Burrow with Higgins, and then Trevor Lawrence with Myers. This is kind of a, hey, I took Lawrence. Let me force in some Myers. Hopefully you got Hunter as well, and you did. So, yeah, that works out really nicely for that combination with Lawrence. And then, of course, Mendoza with those guys. So this looks really solid. Wide receiver group looks a little soft. But I think the makeup attempt here was, let me go crazy on, all these rando late wide receivers. I'm not going to get super excited about Jeremy Bernard in this spot here. Just as a player pick, I WR3 for the Steelers is not a good scene. But I would have taken Tank Dell. Adonai Mitchell. There are different names of players that I probably would have liked a little bit more. But overall, this is a really well thought through approach. Everybody's well correlated, and it's super unique. And if it hits, it's going to hit strong. So I got no critique there. Do we think the Raiders will suck? My lean is yes, that they will suck. Yeah, that's my lean. I don't know, but Vegas does not like the Raiders to do well this year either. So I do think they're kind of going to suck. All right, my draft, I start with James Cook and Omarion Hampton, just, a couple studs. Then I get Ladd McConkey in there at ADP. Nothing unique about this start at all. Get Josh Jacobs in there. Also, I really like Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs is a crazy good value at 39. I think he belongs at the end of round 1. So for me, Josh Jacobs is the value. Or at the end of round 2. Like, I think Josh Jacobs should be going right here, ahead of Javonte Williams and Breece Hall and those kind of guys. So I think I got some value there. We go with Rome Odunze and Carnell the Gazelle Tate. So I got a pretty solid 3-pack of McConkey, Odunze, and Tate. We double tap Herbert to go along with our McConkey shares, and Jackson Dart, who will stack up with Likely and Darnell and Malachi Fields. So we got a nice little stack going there with both of these quarterbacks. Rashad White, respect to the ETR guy who's taking Rashad White everywhere. I was just like, fuck it, let's go. Yeah. Bitcoin is tanking. That's scary. All right. So we got all that going. And of course, load up on 3 tight ends, 8 wide receivers, since I started slow at wide receiver and just got really heavy. And then I got Brissett paired up with Michael Wilson. Pretty good. Now, I'm not sure who else is in the chat with us from here, so I don't want to go through all these. If like Brad Y is in here, or Nick C, or Lumberg, if any of you guys are in here, let me know. I'll look at your draft. But UCF, first draft with, I think it's one of your first ones this year in stream with us. So, oh boy, wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Really, yeah, I like this start. Taylor, Chase Brown, Flowers, Evans, Javonte, Tyson. So we get a strong 4-pack of wide receivers to go along with, a double stud early RB start. Ramondre, get that 3rd running back in there. Then we got Dak Prescott. Wait a second, bro. Okay. Dak Prescott, not in love with right there. Let's try to focus on quarterbacks that correlate. It's possible that you kind of like missed all the quarterbacks that were correlating, so you had to do this. Like Lamar's gone, maybe Stafford is still around. Goff is available later. Shook is available later. So I'm not sure about the Dak pick here. Yeah, I think it was just like a value play. Like it's a good value there for sure at 91. That's what he had going for him. Just really good value at 91. I had the choice to take Dak here as well instead of Dart. And yeah, I like him a little more than Dart in terms of his overall ranking, but I just figured I could get a stack going with Dart, and there was no stacks available for Dak. Tyler Shook stacked up with Tyson. Okay. Dak with Ferguson. Yeah. And then let's see, Malik Willis. So you got that 3rd guy in there. Oh, Flournoy. So you've got Dak in there with Ferguson and Flournoy. Okay. You made it work. I like it. Dolchich with Malik. Yeah, this is a well thought through draft. Ray Davis late. Devon Vele with Shook. So this is a really nicely put together team. Good job, UCF, especially for one of your first ones. Very nicely done. Let's see, Ray Zanny, Razor 33. Starts in the 5-hole. JSN in the 5-hole, great. Derrick Henry. Trey McBride drops to you, as does Josh Allen. So we have Ray grabbing value here with McBride and Allen well after their usual ADP. And as a matter of fact, fuck, man, Garrett Wilson dropped significantly here as well. So a lot of value, Ray Zanny, here in the middle of the draft for you. I like that. I like it. Marvin Harrison Jr. in there. We got to beef up running back. So we got Hubbard, Dowdle, Chris Rodriguez, 3 of the next 4 picks. Of course, Kyle Pitts. I feel like, Ray, if I see your exposures this season, it's going to be like 90% Kyle Pitts. We are in agreement there. I always try to get Pitts, but you've gotten him in the last 2 because he does not drop when we're in the same draft together. Khalil Shakir to go along with that Josh Allen exposure. Let me see here. Allen goes. Where was DJ Moore? Did you take? Yeah, I mean, one thing I guess you could have done, Ray Zanny, is, I mean, you might have just taken DJ Moore instead of Garrett Wilson. But Garrett Wilson was a value there, so I get it. Darnold and Bryce Young to beef up late. But I like, again, you waited super long to get those other quarterbacks. That is the right way to go. When you have Josh Allen, you should not be spending a lot of draft capital early on other QBs. I see a lot of people make that mistake. If you're getting Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, don't just keep tapping quarterbacks. You already spent draft capital. Take advantage of the fact that you don't need 3. You don't need 2 high drafted ones. When you have Josh Allen, he's the one who's driving your team. If Josh Allen has a dud, all right, you're probably not going to win that week. Close out the draft here. 6 running backs, 6 wide receivers. So, we got Kate Otten in here, Algier, Tesla, he's not really coordinating with anybody, but it's fine. And Emmanuel Wilson with the last pick. Razor Ray, one question I have for you with this Manny Wilson is, do you think it's Emmanuel Wilson and not George Holani that's the backup running back in Seattle? Like, I don't know. I think it's Holani, but I don't know. I think it might be Holani. Like, I just heard the coaching staff talking up Holani as like in a split with Jadarian Price. So I think it might be Holani that you want there, but I don't fucking know. Good draft overall, Ray. As always, Ray is a consummate put lineups in the playoffs guy, has won this. So, guys, when Ray drafts, you want to pay attention to that approach. DK Republic, don't know who you are. T. Burchell and Dan Piafon, I think you guys are both in here. So we'll give a quick overview here. Chase Brown, Nico. This is kind of like what it looks like when you draft from this spot. This is what it looks like. You're making decisions like, I don't know. Do I want Breece Hall? Not really. So you end up with 3. You end up with 3 solid wide receivers. Yeah, so you're going back and forth. That's not a stand you're taking. You're just kind of going back and forth. I like that. So here we go. Burchell, we got Montgomery in there. Our first running back, and oh man, it gets a little weird here. Colston Loveland, Drake May with Brown. Okay, so Burrow goes, and you're like, all right, fuck it. I'll take Drake May with Brown, which is fine. And I'll grab Caleb Williams with Loveland, which is okay. Now Monangai with that whole group. Let's see here. We're light on running backs, so Mason, Charbonnet, Allen kind of get up to 5. Yeah, the running back positions, this is basically 0, or this is like 0 RB approach kind of. And it's going to require like some injuries, but obviously Monangai can uplift. He could definitely outplay his starting point. Mason can uplift. So he's got a shot as well to become a starter. Yeah, Bazinga. Oh boy. Yeah. This was an error. An error. Let's see how that costs you. So, Dan PA, Bazinga. Last draft that I'm going to analyze here. We got a pretty good start here with Bijan and Jordan Love. I'm only going to say this about Jolo. Not Jordan, whatever. You're not Jordan Love. Fucking Jadarian Love or whatever the hell his first name is. I'm not in love with Love this season. when I've started with Bijan or Gibbs and Love is sitting there, I tend to kind of want to try to grab something else because I don't know. I think it's a little crowded and the Arizona Cardinals kind of suck. And so I'm not in love with like bad Jeremiah. Yeah. J-Lo. You can't have two J-Los in the same fucking league. It's going to mess me up all year. But this is it, man. This is how it goes. You're going to have these snipes and you got to get it figured out. But yeah, Love, it's not my favorite. I kind of like ETN a little bit better. I probably would have done that one. But I do love the Neighbors pick. When I see Neighbors on my team, I'm like, all right, Dart. Like I'm thinking about Dart. Basil Tootin, Devontae Adams, Parker Washington, fine. All good. I feel like this is a little bit of a minimal reach, but not too bad on Basil Tootin. And obviously, you were going to miss out on a whole tier. You had to take either Tootin or Quentin Judkins here to get that sort of third running back in, I think. And here's where it kind of went a little weird. Ahead of what I would consider, like Baker Mayfield normally isn't going for another, 3 or 4 more rounds. But hey, we all have the Q issues. He popped in there. Nothing you could do about it. Baker Mayfield in there. Now we're trying to beef up these wide receivers. Godwin, Addison, George Kittle injured early, but can come back. Pittman's just all right. Jennings. Yeah, Pacheco, Kamara. Hawkinson is good. Are any of these correlated? I mean, not really. Neighbors, Adams. Yeah, see, I would have rather seen you take Love. But you know what? Dart was not making it back. You had to take someone. Should have taken Caleb Williams there. But you had to take Dart, didn't make it back. Purdy, none of these guys made it back. Even Jordan Love. No, it's... do I hate it? The only thing... listen, Bijan's on the team. Neighbors is on the team. I just like this is fine. Just Mayfield was a reach. Let's say you did something different here, like Caleb. You still are getting Mayfield like 3 rounds later. And that's kind of the difference. So you could have had just a different setup there with Mayfield. But, dude, that's why we got to draft these, bro. Got to do a lot of these to start to get a feel for it. That's why. But I think it's pretty good. I don't have a problem with this. You got all the positions covered. You've got 3 quarterbacks. You've got the tight ends you need. Plenty of wide receiver. Yeah, it's a 0 RB. 0 RB never feels that good when you draft it. Just like, if Pacheco becomes a starter, it feels a lot better. Or if somebody else kind of steps up. But I think the running backs, with Bijan's holding it down in this approach. So I think it's fine. Solid stuff, guys. Listen, the most important thing is I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We're live streaming. We're talking shit. We're talking life. We're talking best ball. We're doing this all summer long. You will appreciate that we drafted best ball teams all summer. When the football season starts, you're going to be so prepared for your redraft leagues against your friends. It's going to be crazy. You're going to run laps around your friends and redraft just from this practice. And of course, it's a lot of fun in season to follow these teams. And I think that these best ball teams, as much effort as it is to draft them, that's why I like that it's the off season. It's a lot of effort. Like I can make 150 lineups for DFS in 5 seconds using the Domination Station, but it's a lot of effort to draft these teams. There's thought that has to go in it, and it eliminates the advantage of the quote unquote pros or the math bros. Those guys cannot get an edge on you. You're seeing the math bros have a 1% advance rate. They're showing up as the worst. They're showing up as the worst best ball players. So it's open for anybody to win. You guys can do it. We're going to keep drafting these teams all summer long. We're going to always talk strategy. We're not going to fall in love with any one draft that we make. We're not falling in love with these. They're throwaways. Like, think of it like a DFS contest. I put 150 lineups in. I'm just hoping for one to get there. And I don't give a fuck about the other ones. No fucks given. That's how we're going to look at our best ball approach. Like, sometimes the draft's going to fall to you well, and that's going to give you a better shot. Sometimes the draft's going to get a little weird. You're going to have to pivot. Sometimes you're going to accidentally put Baker Mayfield in the queue and going to get picked. So what? Who cares? Watch that team be the one that advances, Bazinga. You never know. So, guys, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you all. Best Ball Draft Palooza all summer long. We'll be back on Friday at noon. And probably starting next week, I'm going to figure out a weekday evening to throw these onto so we can hang out, do a little gummy action, and do some do some evening drafts as well and evening hanging out. We have a whole summer. Although I will say this, by the time August rolls around, I'm going to start shifting my focus to DFS. So that's why I try to get a lot of these drafts in early. Guys, good luck. I'll see you guys on Friday at noon. Like, subscribe, notify, and all that good stuff. And make sure, check out the DFS Army channel. I got a lot of little short form strategy videos about best ball, about my fades for this year, about stacks to build. I have a video that's coming out about like playoff matchups and all that stuff that will help us win more of these best ball teams. Good luck, guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Love you all. See you next time.